Good morning, everyone. Do we have our seats so we can get started here today? Shh, please. Great. Thank you so much. Again, so glad that everybody was here to join us for our 2022 annual meeting here at GMAR. I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce to you the charismatic, always styling, and always smiling Terry Spiro, our 2022 GMAR president.
Wanted to give you a moment to enjoy AC/DC. Good morning. At this time, I would like to officially call our 2022 annual membership meeting to order. Would everybody stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America. At this time, we would like to take a moment to remember all of the GMAR members that are not with us today, to honor those Realtor family members who passed away this year. We know they're with us in spirit. Thank you. Thank you to the military and to our veterans. We'd like to thank all who have served, are currently serving, or people who have families serving in the military. If that applies to any of you, please stand. We appreciate your dedication to the country, and we honor you. Okay. I'm going to be introducing to you somebody who needs no introduction. Vicki Livernoy, our CEO, our fearless leader. No one has been a better role model and leader for this association. The consistency of having an executive officer with her experience and her passion for our association, we are incredibly blessed. I know I was, to be able to serve with her. Vicki Livernoy.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. They reminded me yesterday, because I'm short, I have to pull this down, so. Or wear higher heels, which I chose not to do today. At this time, I would like to introduce you to those sitting at the head table. We have our president, Terry Spiro. Our president-elect, Nathan Boji. And our past president, Katie Weaver. I would also like to introduce you to our current board of directors. Shelley Shaner, District 1. Jay Sanders, District 2. And they will stand if you want to remain standing as I call your name. So Shelley Shaner, District 1. Jay Sanders, District 2. Pam Bartling, District 5. Tony Jennings, District 7. Kevin Hultgren, District 8. Chelsea Kane, District 9. Melissa Deegan, At-Large Director. Devin Smith, At-Large Director. Dennis Kozak, At-Large Director. And Mary Ross, our Strategic Partner Director. I would also like to introduce a special guest who's here with us today, James Iodice, the 22 president of Michigan Realtors. I would also like to take a moment to thank our strategic partners. Earlier this year, we thought the name affiliate just didn't do them justice. By definition, affiliate means officially attached to or connected to an organization. With all that this group has done over the years, we felt this name change was long overdue. They not only have supported our events through sponsorships, but also through their volunteer efforts. They've worked beside us in creating top-notch educational courses and delivering them to our amazing members. They support our industry through investing in RPAC, and they're always a blast to hang out with. Our Platinum Strategic Partners, if you can stand as I call your name. U.S. Bank, Jason Bobby, Alyssa Kopas, Ted Edgington, Jimmy Hassan, Joshua Hudson, Rob Cater, Chris Kappas, Tony Pike, Jeremy Schaefer, Bobby Shannon, Mark Weberly. Pillar to Post Home Inspections, Matt Beamer, Arturo Crosby, David Delfino, and Eric Stidham. Michigan First Mortgage, James Lutz and Grant Spencer. Primary Title, Chris Olson. Our Gold Strategic Partners, American Home Shield, Todd Chamberlain, Christy Golan, and Lori Hoover. Changing Places Moving, Jana Strzok. Fletcher Inspections, Jeff Fletcher and Jessica Tenney. Galloway and Collins, Howard Collins and Scott Galloway. House Call Home Inspection, Drew Isles. Housemaster Home Inspections, Jeff Kraus. Linnell and Associates, Kathy Colkeen and Rick Linnell. Reputation First Title Agency, Mary Ross. Title Connect, Tim Kish and Nicole Van Streen. There's a lot of these, right? Titleosity, Heather Opolowski. Tedder Whitlock Consulting, Kevin Whitlock. Thank you again for your support. Now I'm going to turn it back over to our president, Terry Spiro.
Okay. If you have ever served as a past president, please stand so we can show you our gratitude. There's a lot of you out there. So it's interesting, GMAR is a conglomeration of many, many associations over the past. Our history actually goes back to 1920 when it was originally formed. So over the years, as mergers and groupings of associations have come together, the presidents have helped to mold the organization into what it has become today, bringing all these identities and making it into one identity. So with innovative ideas, we continue to lead the industry and honor everybody who has served in this capacity. It is just amazing where we have come over all these years. So thank you again for all you have done. Now, for state and national leadership, anyone who has either previously, is currently serving in leadership with either the Michigan Realtors or the National Association of Realtors, please stand. I always go off script a little bit. I gotta tell you, no association has contributed to the leadership at our state and national level the way GMAR has. That's why we are greater. The name speaks for itself. Okay, now back on script. Representation is necessary on all levels in our organization. Many of the elected state and national leaders began with their volunteer roots at this local level. And without these individuals continuing to serve their fellow realtors on state and national levels, our industry just wouldn't be what it is today. It starts sitting on committees to the board of directors. The Michigan Realtors and the National Association of Realtors have benefited from many of our members being on these committees and on these boards. We are ultimately working together to ensure that we protect our industry and our entire, the communities that we serve, our consumers. So we want to thank you all. Thank you. Now, GMAR committee members, please stand. There's a lot of you here, I know. Most of you, it seems. Well, that just speaks for our association as well. As with any nonprofit organization, we wouldn't be where we are today without the members who volunteer to serve on a committee. Some volunteered and some we brought in and invited you. Thought you would probably be really good. And we were so grateful when people said yes. Whether they spend hours interviewing candidates for upcoming elections, just like this year, a lot of time spent doing that, or working together to develop new events or classes, or to simply help educate all our members about all the programs that we have available. We could not be where we are today without our committee members. They deserve a big round of applause. I'm personally grateful for our staff and want to take a moment to say thank you. I'm actually going to be addressing this again a little bit in my speech, but just this staff works tirelessly on behalf of our members to ensure they are available to answer your questions and concerns, to help implement new tools and programs, and to help guide you through your journey in the real estate industry. It is just amazing, the staff we have, and I'm going to recognize them again later, and I want them to stand. But for now, we'll give them a general round of applause. Okay, now we get to what has been going on in 2022. First of all, good morning again. It just doesn't seem possible that a year ago I was sworn in as 2022 president. All the previous presidents had said, it's going to go by so fast, and it has been a whirlwind. In my speech last year, I focused primarily on the role that I felt GMAR had in terms of influence and leadership, not just because of our size, but just our commitment. As the largest association in the state, by far the largest local association in the state, but we're also the 25th largest association in the entire country. I mean, think about that. We are like a mega board. We have the ability, and I really believe the duty, to be a strong voice. I talked about it last year. I believe that even more so this year. We owe our members the absolute best possible services, and the ability to, we have the ability to help change the landscape of the realtor community. Last fall, I spoke about the importance of an informed and strong board of directors to lead this great association. Before I outline GMAR's accomplishments this past year, I'd like to showcase our 2022 Board of Directors and leadership team, as well as our amazing CEO and staff. First of all, President-elect Nathan Bocci. He's going to be sworn in shortly as the 2023 incoming president. First of all, I could not have had a better partner in this leadership journey. Nathan, you have become just a dear friend. I treasure that. It's hard not to get emotional because you really do, on the leadership team, grow close to your partners. He's been amazing. GMAR is going to benefit so greatly from his business experience, and he is truly committed to what is best for the members. He's the perfect example of what leadership looks like and I admire him greatly. I've been so grateful for his wisdom and friendship this past year, and look forward to serving with him next year when I'm past president. He certainly has a strong compass for the journey, and I'm going off a little of my script again. I've known his mom, Carol Bocci, for years and years, and I made the joke when I first met Nathan several years ago, oh, that's Carol's kid. Well, now, Carol, you're his mom. The roles have reversed a little bit. I have to tell you, you are in such incredible hands next year with Nathan as your leader. So Treasurer Dee Dee O'Hara Blizzard, who is not here, why? Because she is on glamma duty. I call it gaga duty, some of you call it grandma duty. Has a brand new baby in the family, and so she has been with her family and the brand new baby. But you'll be hearing a little bit from her later on film. She has been an amazing treasurer. She has a very strong background in finance, which is, of course, very helpful, and in business. But in the global real estate world, she has been one of the founding mothers, if you will, for opportunities, global opportunities in the Detroit metropolitan area. She's actually known nationally and internationally in this arena, and was very instrumental in GMAR's implementation of the Global Initiative Committee. And we'll talk a little bit more on that later. But Dee Dee brings so much gravitas and passion and experience to our board, especially in that area where GMAR hopes to just continue to grow. She's also become a dear friend, and she's a rock star, gotta tell you. Katie, our past president. She has been my mentor from the beginning of the leadership journey. She has a strong background in leadership on every level. She's been a leader at GMAR, Michigan Realtors, Women's Council, NAR. She has continually provided an incredible resource to me, but the entire board. The executive board benefited greatly from her this year, and our entire board of directors. She just brings so much. She has had a strong history of guiding GMAR's path for several years. I'm so personally grateful to her on not only a professional but a personal level. No one has been more supportive of me in my leadership journey, and I value your friendship so much, Katie. Thank you. Now, would the incredible rest of our 2022 Board of Directors stand up again? Shelly, sorry, Jay, Pam, Tony, Kevin, Chelsea, Dennis, Melissa, Devin, and Mary. Would you all stand again? Okay. When we met at the beginning of this year, one-on-one, all of you, and we were talking about our vision for where GMAR would be going this year, and I got to know you all better on a personal level. I knew I had the privilege and honor of serving with the best board of directors anybody could ask for. I've tried all year to let you know how important you've been and how much you've meant to me and to GMAR. I hope you felt that. The combined wisdom of this group includes many different perspectives. We've had everything with Shelley's background in politics, so many of you running your own brokerages. I just think of all the people that I have treasured this year. You've brought just such a collaborative effort. This is what a team looks like, everybody. This is what a team looks like. The staff, and I know what you brought to the table. I just want the general membership to know that the directors they voted for in the past, your leadership team here, you did a good job. You did a great job in electing these people. They are simply the best. They're informed, contemplative, thoughtful, and insightful in a year of many accomplishments and challenges. Their commitment to GMAR this year was second to none, and I appreciate each and every one of them. They really deserve a round of applause. I'd also like to acknowledge our incredible GMAR staff, led by the best CEO in the state, Vicki Livernoy. GMAR is truly greater. It is in the name. We're truly greater due to the leadership style of Vicki. I can't say enough about it. She manages to balance the needs of over 11,000 members with wisdom and complete preparation. She is so thorough. She encourages creative thinking from her staff and her leadership team. Don't take this for granted. There's a lot of associations that are completely staff-driven or are not as member-centric as we are at GMAR. Vicki, while keeping budget in mind, never says no to an idea. It's like, let's see if we can make it work. She encourages the creativity of her board, and not everybody has that. I can't tell you how lucky we are. She is first and foremost a supporter of the realtor community and brings years of experience to GMAR. She's a wife and a mother, and yet if we needed something addressed at 8 o'clock at night, there she was. I'm telling you, this is a woman who is, her commitment to GMAR, unparalleled. She has assembled an incredible GMAR superstar staff, and I am going to be giving them a few little kudos here. First of all, membership director Stacy Ware, our membership specialist Carrie, our event manager Hannah. An event like this could not happen, or our events throughout the year, without having our incredible party planner. That's what I call her, but no, she has the dignity. She's our event manager, Hannah Deacon. I'm over here. Yeah, I'm trying to find you. She's hidden. She's on the down low over there. Our education director, Tracy Dean, do not for a minute take for granted we have the best educational programs in the state. We have our own accountant, Marnie. It's a lot easier to be fiscally responsible when you have an accountant on your staff. Our new political people, our political engagement director, Alex Haddad. Has everybody met Alex? This is his first membership meeting. He's not new anymore, but he's been here since, he's been here less than a year. Amazing, amazing job. And then we have our director of Realtor and Community Affairs, Grant Mead, also newer this year. They are just unbelievable, and we'll talk about some of the ways they've influenced our accomplishments. Our professional standards administrator and toolshop manager, Pauline. Pauline, we've known each other since the old WOCAR days. Pauline has the same historical knowledge as Vicki. We're very blessed. We also have member support administrator Kelly and Raina, our administrative director Susie, and graphic designer Corey. The smooth delivery of education, enforcement of our professional standards, political advocacy, our RPAC awareness, social media outreach, financial management, and the social and business events that we have accomplished this year are just because of our amazing team. You have all benefited from the direction of Vicki and her incredible staff. I cannot thank Vicki enough for her guidance and for providing us this incredible staff. And I think they deserve another round of applause. Okay. This year has been one of great accomplishments, and I'm going to identify those in a few moments. There's also been some challenges. GMAR is one of 8 shareholders of RealComp, our multi-list provider. There have been concerns by our board of directors regarding the rollout of Remine and some other issues we've identified over the years. We are one voice in a room of 8 shareholder associations, and at times we are the lone or minority voice expressing concerns over policies at RealComp. I can assure you that GMAR has the members' best interests in mind as we look at ways to improve RealComp services and governance. We have worked hard all year, along with our shareholder representatives, Karen Greenwood and James Iodice. So they are the ones who vote on behalf of GMAR in the RealComp shareholder meetings. And a lot of members don't understand how this all works. You know, we are a shareholder, one of several. But we have worked hard all year in identifying ways to better serve our members. We have a shareholder meeting coming up this Monday, November 7th, to discuss solutions that GMAR has proposed. Multi-list services as well as GMAR services are being addressed in a member survey on your table. If you have not already done so online, there is a way that you can fill out a survey that is going to help our board identify better the priorities that you have for our association. And there are questions there that will help us address your concerns over services you may or may not be getting at RealComp. Please fill out the survey online or the survey on your table, and you will receive a $5 Starbucks gift card if you participate. So, we're willing to give you coffee, take a few minutes to fill it out. We want your input on how we can serve you better. So now let's talk about the GMAR accomplishments this year. Got to start with RPAC. Everybody I think who knows me knows I'm an RPAC junkie, but nothing is a greater insurance policy for our industry. This year we raised $252,597 with 45% of our members already donating. GMAR also received the award from Michigan Realtors for the highest membership participation. So that's really quite an accomplishment. It's the larger you are, the harder it is to get that percentage up, and we've managed to do that. Education. 163 courses were offered in 2022, with over 6,000 students completing the courses, either in person or virtually, furthering their knowledge. And this was the year where we started bringing a little bit more in-person activities. We helped our members hone in on their real estate skills and increasing their professionalism in our industry. We have undoubtedly the best education program in the state, and we've even received national recognition for our programs. We couldn't be as great as we are without our amazing instructors. I know there's some instructors in the room. If you could please stand. Thank you for helping make us greater. Now, GMAR scholarship recipients. Again this year, GMAR was pleased to be able to provide $25,000 in scholarships to the children of our Realtor members. To qualify, graduating seniors had to apply for the scholarship earlier this year and show their commitment to attending a Michigan college or university. This year's class of scholarship recipients are attending 20 of Michigan's universities and colleges. The list includes University of Michigan, Michigan State University, Adrian College, Kettering University, Grand Valley State University, Delta College, and much, much more. So it's just another way of GMAR giving back to our members. The Consumer Awareness Campaign. Has anybody seen us on billboards? I hope you have. In 2022, we had 2 rotating ads on 10 local billboards in Southeast Michigan, highlighting the value of working with greater Realtors. The staff was very responsible, and our marketing people, very responsible for getting this program going, and I hope that you had the same pride I did every time you saw our name somewhere. We had numerous Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Spotify digital ads that were highlighting the value of working with a greater Realtor. Because our members have the education, the knowledge and the experience to guide consumers more than anybody, because we provide that to our members. And all links that were as part of any of that social media directly were sent back to our website. So it's always promote GMAR, 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 and our members. Media articles, oh my gosh. We were featured in 32 local articles. Nathan, you're gonna have to get used to getting a call frequently for your opinion on all things real estate. But GMAR is looked at as an incredible source for that kind of information, so it was such a pleasure to be able to be involved in that. First-time homebuyer savings account. Well, for the first time ever, I'm sure you've heard, Michigan residents now have a new tool to help realize the dream of homeownership. Through a new dedicated tax-free savings account, Michiganders can now save for the purchase of their home. The Michigan First-Time Homebuyer Savings Account, or FHSA as it's known, is a program geared towards saving for your first home purchase. Account holders can deduct most, if not all, of their contributions regarding state income tax and tax-free gains on their qualified investments. The First-Time Homebuyer Savings Account can be opened for yourself, but also on behalf of a child, a grandchild, niece, nephew, or more. Another shameless plug for our PAC. The Michigan Realtors and all of the people that lobby on our behalf were very instrumental in getting this program in place. So it's our PAC dollars at work. Okay, political accomplishments. What a year. GMAR members and staff interviewed over 150 candidates and had an 85% success rate of our primary endorsed candidates. I defy any other group to say they had that kind of a winning streak. It's unbelievable with the political climate that we nailed 85%. Thanks to our Government Relations Committee chaired by Justin Oliver and Vice Chair John McCardle. Also the RPAC Committee chaired by James Chrisbrook and Vice Chair Debbie D'Angelo. GMAR stopped discussion of many harmful ordinances in East Point, Warren, Oak Park, and Oakland County. For example, in East Point, we were able to defeat a certificate of occupancy, Warren, Oak Park, and Oakland County short-term rentals. Any of you who think for 1 minute that short-term rentals being banned is a good idea, talk to me later. GMAR has said we'll fall on the sword on that topic. GMAR proactively educated elected officials in over 60 municipalities to promote homeownership and affordability. GMAR hosted several events that were breakfasts, educational seminars, and candidate forums in order to educate elected officials and facilitate relationships with our members. We've never done as many as we've done this year. It was unbelievable, the amount of members that we had, the leadership people that showed up. GMAR leveraged funds from NAR to educate the consumers regarding the first-time homebuyer savings and account legislation. So we have been out in the communities promoting realtor interests and homeownership interests in every way that we can, and very effectively. Our placemaking, which is now a task force, was chaired by Kathy Kuhn and Vice Chair James Iodice. GMAR awarded, through the placemaking efforts and recommendations, $25,000 to local projects that are in our jurisdiction. Do you know how big GMAR is? We're everywhere. So we wanted to make sure that we represented a really vast geographic area. We funded 5 local projects. First of all, Bennett Arboretum, Northville, Michigan. Planting, we don't have a picture of that, but I think we have a diagram of who we served there. We helped to continue the revitalization of the Arboretum as well as the planting of native species. The Seeded Faith Farm Rescue in Almont, Michigan. This was through a NAR placemaking grant. They started as a horse rescue, but now looks to increase the outreach into assisting all community members. To accomplish this, the rescue will be building a shelter to cover a small library, pantry, and clothing repository that will take donations. Hamtramck Recreation District, yep, we were everywhere. As part of their larger effort in Hamtramck to reflect the growing nature of their community and put efforts into benefiting their citizens, we had park benches placed along pathways to increase usability and attractiveness of all the green spaces. The Walter and Mary Burke Park in New Baltimore, yes, we were everywhere. New Baltimore was looking to create a joint sitting area art project. They wanted picnic tables installed and then had them painted and decorated by local artists. So we helped with that. The Leanna Hicks Public Library, Inkster, Michigan. They were looking to support those to utilize the library by installing a community garden in the back of their property. We helped them do that. Humble Design Deco Day. Humble Design is our charity this year. Last Friday, GMAR staff and many members volunteered on Humble Design Deco Day for a single mom of 2 in Detroit. The team started the day loading all decorative items and beds and artwork and everything you need to make a house a home. Hang the artwork, set up the house to make it welcoming for the new family coming in. It was clear how excited they were to be settled into their fully furnished home. Statistics show that homelessness, when people are able to go into a property that has been furnished, their returning to homelessness goes to almost zero. So we're so proud to have this be our charity this year. Some of our other events, we had a photo day for members. We had our Coffee on Economics with over 200 attendees for the exclusive GMAR event with NAR Chief Economist, Dr. Lawrence Yoon, sharing his predictions on post-COVID real estate market. Our elected officials breakfasts, which were hosted in Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties, which I alluded to earlier, had panels of our own members as experts on current market changes and challenges and possible solutions to help alleviate challenges like low inventory and short-term rentals being a concern of theirs. We had to educate them about that. Many elected officials attended. We had mayors, council members, we had commissioners from all 3 counties. I can tell you the interaction was unbelievable. We met a lot of new allies. They appreciate those that we've supported. They appreciate us. But we established ourselves as the expert in all things regarding housing. Oh my gosh, our Fair Housing April event, Protecting the Many Colors of Homeownership. Jay, our own Jay on the board of directors, was our MC, rocked it, the best fair housing program I've ever attended. It was called Protecting the Many Colors of Homeownership, where hundreds of our members participated in a hybrid event that featured a panel of experts, including NAR Vice President of Political Advocacy, Brian Green, Lori Benner, Ryan Wyant, Tom Kowiak, James Hong, which provided a wealth of knowledge on all issues regarding fair housing and how to be a fair housing champion. That was an amazing, amazing event. And special thanks to our diversity and inclusion chair, Angelique Whitby, and Vice Chair Lakina Falks for that. Summer in the Park. Oh my gosh, I hope those of you who came had as good a time as I did. It was hosted in Madison Heights and was fun for the whole family. We had inflatables, games and crafts. We had ice cream trucks. We had chicken. We had the kids decorating frames for the humble design projects. It was unbelievable, and we just all had such a great bonding experience. I can tell you, Jay and I manned the bounce house. That I think we deserved an award that day. Try managing a lot of anxious kids, and the fact that some of them were staff members' children. We had to be really politically good about that. But no, we had a ball. Over 400 neighbors and Realtor members. We had neighbors come by, and they're like, "Can we come?" We're like, "Absolutely." Our global launch party, I mentioned about Dee Dee being part of the global initiative. We had a wonderful group of people that for the last couple years have been planning how we could have this be a big part of GMAR, having global real estate being part of our platform. So the global launch party came together at the Detroit Fleet in Ferndale, kind of a fun, funky place. We heard Will Butler from the Detroit Regional Partnership share information, how to help promote Metro Detroit as a global destination. How many people knew here that Detroit was the #1 global destination right now, is recognized by different publications? Anybody who thinks that we're not, we got a lot of great information about that at that program. So thank you to the efforts of our Global Initiative Committee, who was chaired by Justin Oliver and Vice Chair Carolyn Chen. We had a safety symposium, first-time event hosting 2 engaging speakers to highlight their experience and knowledge on keeping digital information safe to avoid being victim of cybercrimes and how to keep ourselves safe. It involved everything from better business practices to self-defense tactics. Who had time for real estate? My gosh, we were so busy hosting events. Golf outing. We were so excited to bring back the GMAR golf outing, which was a supporter of Humble Designs this year. I got to give some kudos to Pam on the board. Yes, Pam, who was really instrumental in saying, we got to get that golf outing back. So thank you for your input. Over 90 golfers attended, raising over $2,000 through 50-50 raffles and Beat the Pro games. We had a housing opportunity lunch hosted for several local stakeholders. Again, it was an outreach with key members of our community to discuss how to promote homeownership in the metropolitan Detroit area. So that was our focus all year long. Educate those people who are controlling our destinies by either good or bad policy. And we're going to make sure it's good policy. So, kind of as my final saying to you, I cannot thank you, the members, enough for the supporting and encouragement you have given me and the entire board of directors this past year. I cannot tell you how many people have called me, texted me, emailed me, hugged me, greeted me, and all of our directors through all the events this year. It really makes you feel like you did make a difference. And I got to tell you, your encouragement for all of us and the support you give our staff is what makes this such an incredible association. First of all, we've been the leader in the state and in the country for advocating for our members and the communities that we serve. Do not take that lightly. We are a powerful force. Do not be afraid to use our voice, our 11,000 plus members' voice, to affect change and good practices. The long list of accomplishments that you have just seen could not be done by most, if any, local associations in the country. I'm very proud of GMAR. There are other local associations in our market area. Quite honestly, they cannot compare. They don't have the numbers. They don't have the staff. They don't have 2 government affairs directors looking out for our best interests. They don't have Vicki. I am so proud to be part of this association that has proven itself to be greater. Under the direction of the 2023 leadership team, we will continue to be the most influential voice of our industry. Thank you.
about another big round of applause for Terry? So we're going to have Terry come up in a second, and we've got a little something for her. And I've got some things to say about Terry in a few minutes, but I just want to say a big thank you to Terry for all the time and effort that she puts into everything that she does for GMAR. She goes as far as to offer up her own home every year in the summertime for a fantastic RPAC event. That is probably, I don't know, it's my favorite event of the year. But Terry's work that she does for our membership, it's tireless. She says no to anything. Or she said, you know, if you ask her to do something, she's there. There's just no question. And her support and leadership and the example that she's set for the rest of our leadership team sets a pretty high standard for all of us to follow. So, Terry, you've left some big shoes to follow. Thank you so much for all that you do. And we've got a little something for you. Come on up. He's over there.
Oh, yes.
Where do you want us?
Sorry, we forgot where we were supposed to stay at. Okay, here. Here you go.
Thank you so much. I could give you a hug.
Yep.
So thank you very much, Terry, for your leadership. I appreciate that. And thank you, Nathan, for your words there. Next, it's my opportunity to introduce Dee Dee O'Hara-Blizzard, our GMAR treasurer. Unfortunately, as mentioned earlier, she was unable to attend today doing the GLAMA program. But technology lets us be a little more effective and efficient, right? That's what technology is all about. So joining us today from California, here's the report. Thank you.
Fellow Realtors, it has been my pleasure to serve as the 2022 Treasurer of GMAR. GMAR's fiscal position makes it a joy to present the annual Treasurer's Report. GMAR has a history of amazing leadership and volunteers coupled with the legacy of a top-notch CEO and a highly skilled staff of team members. Together, they work tirelessly to ensure that GMAR membership receives outstanding services, cutting-edge resources, and the highest quality educational opportunities. However, because GMAR is greater, it doesn't stop there. Perhaps you've seen the advertisements that promote our members as the premier professionals in which to do business with here in the metropolitan area. You may have also read the press about GMAR's community outreach, homeownership advocacy, or the charitable efforts in which GMAR takes the lead and sets the standard in our marketplace. All of this and more with a focus on maximizing the exposure of our members and bringing awareness to our objectives and helping you grow your business and your brand. These standards would be difficult, if not impossible, to reach without an organization having a strong focus on its fiscal responsibilities. In managing the ever-increasing cost of operations and conservatively maintaining solid financial reserves, GMAR continues to succeed in this area. I was not surprised when I recently read the Independent Accountants Review, whereby, in conclusion of GMAR's financial statements, they stated that they were not aware of any modification that should be made to the financial statements to bring them in compliance with the generally accepted accounting principles in the United States. Excellence in its fiscal management, excellence in its compliance, and excellence in its mission to be greater as your local association. To my fellow GMAR members, I am happy to report to you that GMAR remains a secure and dynamic organization. It bears repeating that we are strongly committed to providing you value, and our financial position is consistent with providing the highest quality services. GMAR remains fiscally responsible with the money that our members entrusted us with and ensures that all financial decisions are made with the question of, will this provide real value to our members? We continue to build reserves so we can ensure that if we are ever faced with an economic downturn or we once again find ourselves in the bout of a global pandemic, we can continue to provide our members with the high quality services and benefits they deserve and expect from our organization. Thank you.
I took the opportunity to send Dee Dee a text to let her know thank you very much for her report and the financial update, again, using technology to our advantage. I've had an opportunity to work with many of the leaders mentioned here today over my tenure in the association as well, and our next speaker in many capacities through the GMAR leadership. And at this point, I'd like to welcome up James Chrisbrook to talk about our RPAC committee chair.
Danger zone. First, I'd like to say about Vicki as well. I talk to associations all over the country who are like, is she happy? Can we get her or somebody like her? And I couldn't, nor would I want to do the things that Vicki does. She is extraordinary and known across the country. So thank you again. So howdy, my realtor family. You should know that of that 25 biggest, that's out of 1.6 million realtors in the country. We're the largest trade association. We have the strongest PAC in our Realtor Political Action Committee, and our voice is important. So let me just tell you a few things. So fighting against short-term rental bans. We helped create a first-time home buyer savings account, preventing tax on real estate commissions, eliminating after-the-fact referrals, and reducing threats from third-party affinity programs, preventing unnecessary additions to seller disclosure forms and other forms, preventing transfer tax increases, and reducing property taxes, supporting legislation, protecting private property rights and taking compensation, preserving the mortgage interest deduction, supporting the use of electronic signatures for real estate documents, supporting capital gains tax cuts and tax reforms which encourage real estate investment, reducing risks and legal liability through enacting seller disclosure laws, stopping mandatory home inspection legislation, preserving the independent contractor status for real estate professionals, increasing FHA and VA loan limits, and allowing more families to move into the ranks of homeownership, finding affordable homeownership, and starting more generational profitability and generational wealth, supporting database protection legislation for real property listings, and something I'm very proud of, creating protection for sexual orientation and gender identity in Michigan, which did not exist prior to Michigan Realtors going to the Supreme Court in Michigan and fighting for that. Vote, act, and invest in RPAC. We make a difference, we have a voice, but we have to have your investment in order to do it. Thank you.
Can we talk? Can we just get real and talk? Imagine a world where you couldn't post a for sale sign in a client's yard. Or suppose your independent contractor status was jeopardized and you were required to punch a clock at your broker's office. Or what if Congress abolished the mortgage interest deduction? How would it affect your business? Look, they say avoid talking politics at parties, but these scenarios just might happen without the Realtor Party. The Realtor Party. It's not the Republican Party or the Democratic Party or even a gala. It's the advocacy arm of the Realtor organization that fights for you and your business. As a Realtor, you are on the front line, helping Americans realize the dream of home ownership. you feel the pressure of onerous taxes, government overreach, and regulations that get it wrong. But you are not alone. Through the Realtor Party, we support candidates at home, in the state capitol, and in Washington, D.C., who understand your business needs. They champion our issues so more people can become homeowners. From protecting the mortgage interest deduction, to defeating unreasonable rental restrictions, to supporting balanced growth initiatives. The Realtor Party is there, and the Realtor Party is effective. But we can't do it alone. We need your help to vote, act, and invest in RPAC. Vote, act, invest. Supporting the Realtor Party is something we should all talk about, and frankly, something we should all do.
Again, James, thank you so much for leading the RPAC program. Up on the screen is a little QR code. They're making a comeback, folks. Big time, right? But this is so the opportunity. You get your pin. Shelley caught me on the way in this morning already. Do my RPAC donation for today. So please shoot a quick picture up there. Do your RPAC donation. Please donate to the program, okay? Next to the stage is another leader I've had the opportunity to work with on the board. Also, your 2021 Realtor Active in Politics recipient. Please welcome up Karen Greenwood.
What a gorgeous room this morning. So, funny thing, I went to the eye doctor and they only gave me one contact. So I need near and close, so I'm not going to read the teleprompter because I'm actually afraid I can't see it. So let me give you a little bit of information. First of all, it's an honor to have served as your last year's recipient. It's always an honor to stand on this stage and represent this great organization. This year's recipient of the 2022 Realtor Active in Politics is awarded to a person who serves as your RPAC committee chair and actively participates in numerous candidate interviews and endorsements this year. He has been a major investor for 11 years and is currently a Crystal R level. He's on the board of directors for the Oakland County Economic Development Corporation and supports many municipalities with housing issues. He's spent much of this year traveling across the country as he chairs the National Association of Realtors Diversity Committee and spends countless hours working on behalf of the 1.6 million of us. During this time, he's educating on the importance of diversity and promoting real change in real estate practices. He's been an advocate fighting for protection of the LGBT community in housing for many years. Earlier this year, the Supreme Court ruling passed that sexual orientation is protected under the state's civil rights law. Businesses can no longer deny services to LGBTQ patrons, and housing can no longer be denied. This is a major accomplishment which we should all be proud of. I am honored to present the 2022 Realtor Active in Politics, my friend, a broker owner, a father, and a mentor to many, James Chrisbrook.
So I would say a couple of words. This should have everybody's name on it. And I am so grateful to receive this. But there are so many people in this room that should be Realtors active in advocacy. I think the word politics means something different these days. We advocate. And I have, in fact, traveled, I need to say it so that I can apologize to my team. 2 months out of this year, I've been gone on behalf of NAR, advocating for all things. Advocacy, the LGBTQ plus community, our friends at NAREB, our friends at NAREP, and our friends at ARIA. You can do the same thing. Please sit on candidate interviews. Please invest in our plaque. Lastly, on Tuesday, if you haven't done it already, vote. And you guys that know me, If you don't vote, shut up. Right? Go Tuesday and vote and make a difference. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Again, congratulations to James. Well-deserved award. I'm pleased to also bring up our next speaker, who I've had an opportunity again to work with. It's really a pleasure to do that. Christopher Ayer, your 2021 Realtor of the Year, to announce the next award.
All right, so like Karen Greenwood, I didn't go to the eye doctor. However, brought it just in case. So thank you. Yes, it has been such an honor to be your 2022 Realtor of the Year. It is my distinct honor to present this award. The award for Realtor of the Year is selected for someone going above and beyond the efforts and dedication in the advancement of real estate organization. This member shows dedication, improving not only in their community, but in the fellow realtors as well. This year's selection committee selected Etoile Rear Libet for going above and beyond these requirements. The committee noted Etoile's extensive work at all levels of realtor organization and her involvement in the local, state, and national committees. Having served on the current Government Relations Committee for over 7 years, as well as the Diversity Inclusion Committee, all the way to President, Michigan Realtors, for 2021. Etoile has continually been an advocate for fair housing and uses her position in relentless campaigning for increasing homeownership rates for those unrepresented and serving in the community. She's also an investor in a perpetual investor for the Realtor Active in Politics Golden Hour President Circle level of every year. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2022 Realtor of the Year, Etoile Rear Libet.
So I would have loved to make the kind of entrance that James made, but you would have seen me laying on the floor. We have heard the word team this morning, and to receive this kind of an award, it truly takes a team. I am thankful to my God, who is my spiritual leader. I'm thankful to my husband, who has taken this ride along with me over the years. I'm thankful for the association, for the honor, and for nominating me. Those of you who may have been at the convention, the Michigan Realtor Convention, may have heard me say this, a short story. I bought this little book for my grandson, and it says you can do anything. On the day of the convention, when the Realtor of the Year was being honored, I had been reading an inspirational verse out of this little book. And one of the things I like to do is inspire, and I like to be inspired. So I'm going to read this to you because the name of the book is You Can Do Anything. You're on the journey of a lifetime. You're on a journey that is universal, yet uniquely personal, and profound, yet astonishingly simple. where sometimes you will stumble and other times you will soar. Travel at your own pace. That'll be time enough to learn all you need to know and go as far as you're meant to go. Travel light. Letting go of extra baggage will keep your arms open and your heart free to fully embrace the gifts of the moment. You may not always know exactly where you're headed, but if you follow the desires of your heart, the integrity of your conscience, and the wisdom of your soul, then each step you take will be a step in the right direction on the journey of a lifetime. That's by Paula Finn. This has truly been a journey of a lifetime that I have truly enjoyed. Many times what I have done is from my heart. I'd like to thank all of you out there who have supported me over the years to get me to this place. And the last thing I want to say is, while I was sitting there, a text came through that said, if you have an absentee ballot, don't mail it, take it to your municipality and vote. If you're going to vote in person, please vote in person. It's very important. Thank you so much for nominating me to the association. Thank you.
Congratulations, Atul. Very well deserved again. Our next presenter was and the last 2021 GMAR Affiliate of the Year. I'm very pleased to introduce and call to the stage Mary Ross to introduce our new 2022 Strategic Partner of the Year.
Hi there. I just want to say again, thank you for the honor of being the strategic partner and the last strategic partner. No, dummy, affiliate partner. I'm a little nervous, okay? As Vicki mentioned earlier, we decided to change the name of the affiliate committee to the strategic partner committee. So this year we are honoring our first strategic partner. And again, the committee decided that the name change was definitely needed. We have such great partnerships with the non-realtor members, and this name change represents those relationships so much better. So to honor this year's recipient, I want to let you know that this person has been a strong supporter of GMAR by volunteering their time excuse me, on the Strategic Partner Committee for more than 5 years. This person not only helped develop some of the amazing courses, but she's also had almost perfect attendance at the meetings. This person is not a newcomer to the industry at all, and I'm sure that they would not want me to say out loud how many years they've been involved. Not only hardworking and dedicated, this person is very generous with their time and volunteers with other organizations as well. Some of them are WCR 275 Corridor, yay, the Plymouth Community Chamber of Commerce, a board member there, Salvation Army, Habitat for Humanity Women's Build team member, president of a BNI chapter, and also a great rock artist. I'm sure you've guessed by now who this outstanding person is. It's my honor to announce your 2022 Strategic Partner of the Year, Vicki Plagans.
don't know if you've ever won an award that you didn't know you were going to win, but it's like, what? I guess I'm glad I came today. So I just want to, I don't even know what to say other than, it's been a ride. It's been a really fun committee to be involved in. And I just keep on coming up with ideas. And as far as how long I've been in the industry, in the spirit of not caring how old I am, I'm 59. I've been in the business for 39 years. I started as a realtor, and I've grown, and I've used that information and experience to help my realtors in the way of mortgages for the last 30 some odd years. So I really enjoyed, I've had more time in the last 5 and plus years to be involved in these kinds of committees and organizations, a little bit more hands-on. Prior to that, I was a single mom in a commission sales business. So, it's hard to do everything. I just am honored, and I'm a little nervous because I didn't expect to win this. So I just want to thank everyone, and I hope that I can continue to bring content in the future with our committee. And I've just really enjoyed the experience, and I want to continue to add and bring value in the future. So thank you all, and again, I'm honored. And I have my glasses on.
I thought we were doing that. Wait.
I got him. Okay. Where are you going?
I'm tall, so I understand it.
Thank you, guys.
Again, congratulations, Vicki. I've seen lots of your social media posts and things like that for the things that you do in the community, so we appreciate what you do here for GMAR as well. Our next presenter has the mindset to help those and was the recipient of our 2021 GMAR Greater Neighborhood Award. Please welcome to the stage Annette Campo.
Good morning. Once again, sharing the stage with our leadership over all the years. And, I saw so many friends today that when we were doing the merger of the two associations, I was serving on the board at that time. Just such an honor. It warms my heart to share the stage today. Today, I get the honor of recognizing this year's recipient. This is one of the fewest awards that we announce live here at the meeting. Let's see if this person can actually figure it out by some hints. And I swear I did not call this person. Because when you find out who won, you're going to wonder why I didn't. While, of course, being involved in school activities and neighborhood events is always top of their mind, they're engaging in their community and other associations has always been very important to them. Always encouraging others to live a life worth living and giving back to the community seems to be the motto of this person and how they live. Each year around Thanksgiving, they always organize a food drive where the entire community pitches in to drop off brown bags and collects those brown bags that fill the shelf stable items has been a trademark for the time now. Get kind of emotional because, hunger is real in our community. And so having someone step up to the plate like that has been also one of my mantras as well. He recruits his friends, his family, neighbors, and encourages them to also help give back to the community. Those items are then collected and taken to the local food pantry where they're distributed free of charge to families in need. This year's recipient not only gives locally, he even helps people in need all the way to the other side of the country. And that's a pretty big hint there. When a little town called Detroit, Oregon, which actually was named after Detroit, Michigan, became the largest number of people from Michigan in their community in the 1890s, had experienced complete devastation following wildfires, this guy came along and said, we can't just do nothing. He started a complete fundraiser and was able to raise over $5,000 to send directly to the Red Cross to help out this sister city. Him and his team have pledged to donate 10% of their earnings to local charities, nonprofits this year. It's huge. It's a big statement. And the sense of social justice continues as he continues to use his experiences in life and in real estate to help any way he can. With my humble pleasure and my greatest pleasure, I get to award this year's 2022 Greater Neighborhood Award to my friend, Lloyd Odell.
Wow, talk about not expecting an award, and glad that I'm here. It's truly an honor to be in front of you. Thank you very much for this. I honestly don't know what to say. It's just, there's so many people in this room that also needs to be up here with their name on this, that give back without wanting anything in return. So thank you for the organization that we have here. Thank you for all those people that spend their time and their money helping others. Just honored and touched to be here. Thank you so much.
Again, congratulations, Lloyd. It's great to hear that community is such a focus for many of us that make our living via the communities we sell and work in on a daily basis. And it's so important to give something back each and every opportunity we have. It's also important to understand that this is just such an amazing group of people here. It's been said multiple times by the leaders here at the front desk and you that have come up for the awards. It's an amazing group of visionary, caring leaders that continue to drive, and as Terry said in her original speech, GMAR will continue to be the most influential voice of our industry. Yeah. It's also great to have so many people involved and could have been selected for any one of these awards that we're giving today. So take that to heart. We're part of a bigger, greater organization, right? It's so important for us when we walk out of here. Continue that in your daily thoughts. Moving on to our next speaker, another leadership member that I've had opportunity to serve with on many of the committees, on our Board of Governors. Please welcome to the stage Ron Jaskar, President of the Greater Realtors Foundation.
Good morning, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ron Jasker. I am the 2022 president of the Greater Realtor Foundation. Foundation is a 501c3 that was formed in 2018. As you recall, a few years ago, we were sponsoring Guardian Angel medical service dogs, and we sponsored 5 dogs over 5 years. And at some point over those 5 years, the GMAR Board of Directors thought it would be a really good idea that the members making donations to support the cost of those dogs should get tax deductions individually. So over time, we've created this 501c3. I think Jamie was the president of GMAR at the time, so he was very influential in getting this done. We've had some leaders throughout the years that have been just phenomenal, and I know that I'm limited on time here, so I'm going to keep it brief. Outside of being a great way to get a tax break during the pandemic, we did help members who were struggling. We do have a benevolent fund, and members had to fill out an application, and we were able to provide a number of your fellow realtors with up to $500 to get through some tough spots during COVID. GMAR also hosts quite a few events over the year, and the proceeds go to fund the foundation, such as tomorrow's Give Back event that I'm hoping to see everybody at. Tickets are still available. You can buy them online. Each year, we do select a charity to support through recommendations from the membership, interviews, and so on. And this year, GMAR has committed to supporting Humble Design. They are a local nonprofit in Pontiac. They help furnish homes for families coming out of homelessness. And I think we heard a little bit earlier today about some of the great things they do, and it's an amazing charity. 2021, we committed to the Community Housing Network, and we were able to present them with $25,000 to support their initiatives. As I mentioned, we do raise funds throughout the year, including the raffle that many of you bought tickets for today. But we do want to acknowledge some members who went above and beyond and donated $500 or more in the last 12 months to the foundation. So when I call your name, please come up and receive a plaque. First is Nathan Boji. All right, second will be Rick Linnell. Who maybe isn't here. Yeah, not everybody's able to make it. Okay, well, not everybody's able here. John McArdle, if you're in the room. Okay, Terry, you're here. Mark Weberly. Brian Yaldu. Thank you, all of you.
Kathy's going to accept on behalf of Rick.
Okay, she can do that.
Picture together.
You are. Lots of trouble.
Mark, come on. Hi, Charlie.
Very much. This is what you get when you give money to people as a charity. Get your picture taken next to Brian Yaldu.
Thanks.
Thank you. Again, I'm going to wind up here with a reminder that tomorrow is the Give Back event from 6 to 10 at the Rooster Tail. I believe the Killer Flamingos are on the ticket. So I hope to see you all there tomorrow. Thank you, and I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Ron, and all the recipients for the donations to go above and beyond there. I'd like to call back to the podium here Terry Spiro to recognize our outgoing directors.
So this is the time to thank our outgoing directors. Throughout my year as president, I have frequently stated that we have the best team at GMAR. And I know those of you that are leaving our board will still be an integral part of the future of this great association and will continue to be involved in all sorts of capacities. Do not be a stranger. It is my honor to have been able to serve with you this year, and I have to personally thank you for the time that you gave to make us greater. So, Mary Ross, Shelley Shaner, and Katie Weaver, would you please join me for a hug and a picture and a plaque? Again, this is what leadership looks like.
right. Well, thank you all for your leadership and your time on the board. It's greatly appreciated. Our next speaker is someone that I know very personally for the past 25 years. Someone I work with daily in a very collaborative effort. I've considered her a mentor, someone I call a true professional. She's treated me like family, and the entire family. I appreciate that so much every day. I know she's also a very proud parent, excited to do the installation today of our new 2023 directors, our board officers, and her son, our 2023 president. Please welcome Carlina Boji.
So the great lady, Aretha Franklin, we all in this room deserve a lot of respect, don't we? Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here today, and I am here to say a few words to you and install our 2023 directors. So I too brought a piece of paper, however I can't see the monitor, so I brought my glasses if I couldn't see it. But so we're installing our 2023 directors in an association, no other ceremony as important as the installation of the directors and the leaders. For those being installed, it is a visible demonstration of their commitment and dedication to the organization. Those of us who witness this event also play an important role in the ceremony because we too demonstrate our commitment and support as well to the leaders in the coming years. Leadership is not a reward, it is a responsibility. The leaders are given of their time, talent, service to the members who entrust them with responsibilities. Would the following directors please come forward as your names are called? District 2, Jay Sanders. District 5, Pam Bartling. District 7, Tony Jennings. District 8, Kevin Holgren. District 9, Chelsea Kane. At large, Melissa Duggan. At large, Donovan Smith. Strategic partner, Jeff Fletcher. Directors, if you would please come forward, please. Do we have everybody? You've been elected by your, I'm sorry, we're missing one more here. All right. You've been elected by the members of the Greater Macomb Association of Realtors to represent their interests by serving as the directors. The members have chosen you because you exemplify high standards of professional conduct. During this year, they will expect you to handle the affairs of the association in an ethical and competent manner. This is an important responsibility. Do you pledge to accept the responsibilities to the best of your ability? Great. Directors, respond with, I do. Congratulations on the election. Please help me recognize the 2023 directors. Thank you very much. Pictures? Are we doing pictures here?
Yep.
We're good?
You guys can get your pictures taken. He's doing it right there. Just smile.
We're also installing 2023 officers. Would the following officers please come forward? President-elect Dee O'Hare Blizzard, okay? Treasury Dennis Kozak, and President Terry Spiro. We have Dee Dee on screen, I believe. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Serving as an officer of the Greater Metropolitan Association of Realtors is an honor and a tremendous responsibility. You will be looked at for guidance, directions, leadership. As you know, it takes a great deal of time and energy to effectively fulfill your responsibilities. You collaborate, have entrusted the management of our association to you. Do you pledge to uphold that trust and serve the association to the best of your ability? Ladies and gentlemen, help me please welcome the 2023 officers. Well, it gives me great pleasure to speak and introduce the next young man. It's a difficult task to follow what Bartley did. And for those of you that know, basically I've had two families. And the one family is the family that we live with in our home. The second family has always been the family of our business. It's been a tremendous pleasure for me to watch my children and my husband put up with me for all these years, and to see how they have evolved in our business as well as the world that they live in. These guys have been realtors from the day they were born. Nathan sat on the hood of a car and held down papers for Mom to do transactions. They were my ride-along buddies and always taking care of Mom in the business. Technology came along. They were my teachers. I've owned every electronic toy you can imagine. That's no joke. And I owned it before it was even out in the market because it was ordered and pre-ordered because it was coming out, right? So I've had the best of all situations. I've had these guys to look over my shoulders, take care of me. So Nathan has grown up in a world, again, of nothing but business owners. He knows nothing but running a business, being an entrepreneur. He's never worked for anyone other than the world that he lives in real estate. So he grew up in the company that we created as a family. We watched it grow from 2 people to quite a large company that we run today, with several different companies that we also run today, which they've been very involved in, and my sons have always been beside me. My son Justin has not sold real estate, but has been a part of our family, just as my son Nathan has. So this has been truly a family business, but Nathan's experience is vast in the real estate community. He's done sales. His first job, what he called real job that he got paid for, he had to answer the phone at the front desk for a crazy real estate company that was growing, and so that was his first real paid job that he got paid for. So Nathan was licensed at the age of 18. He sold his first home when he was 18. He went to school at Wayne State. He stayed at home with Mom and Dad, grew the business. I often wondered if he was ever going to get married, but he married a lovely lady, my daughter, and my daughter-in-law, Bianca, and today has given us 3 beautiful grandchildren. So it has been a ride for Nathan all of these years, and I think if I told his actual period of time in real estate, you'd probably guess his age as well, but we will tell my period of time in real estate versus his time. So I've been in real estate for 40 years. And it has been a great, great business for my family and I. I never worked for anybody. We were entrepreneurs. We grew up in the liquor store, party store, supermarket business. So we understand what it takes for you. Nathan understands what it takes for you. And I'm sure this coming year, Nathan is going to do a fantastic job at looking out for what Nathan believes is his job, and that is working for you, the agents, here at GMAR and across the country. So he's going to have a great time with this. He's going to do a great job with it. It's my pleasure to ask him to come up and to install my son, Nathan.
Open up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up. Hear a knock on the door and the night begins. 'Cause we've done this before, so you come on in.
So, Nathan, you've been chosen by your peers as the Chief Executive Officer of Greater Metropolitan Association of Realtors, and it is a great organization, by the way, and we are get great every year. The Office of President is the highest recognition in this association, but it comes with significant responsibilities. Before you lies many challenges as well as many opportunities. Our witness of your installation, all of us pledge to support you with our time, energy, and enthusiasm. If at this time I could ask you to please raise your right hand, okay? Do you solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that you will administer the office of which you have been elected to the best of your ability, and judge in, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time seeing, in conformative with the bylaws of the association? I do. Do you agree in accepting these positions and in the Greater Metropolitan Association of Realtors to always uphold the Realtors Code of Ethics and to adhere to the Golden Rule in all your dealings with the public and with your challenges? I do. That you will uphold and hold and support enforcement of Michigan's real estate license laws? I do. That you will in all your acts be governed by the principles of honesty, justice, fair play, and in every manner possible endeavoring to promote and safeguard the best interests of our state, its property owners, the highest purpose of your association, and the welfare of the membership. I do. Nathan, are you willing to accept the responsibilities of the president of the Greater Metropolitan Association of Realtors and promise to use the best talent to serve the membership and the profession? I do. By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I do hereby declare you duly and officially installed as the 2023 president of GMAR Metropolitan Association. Ladies and gentlemen, Nathan, your new president for Greater Metropolitan Association.
Open up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up. Hear a knock on the door and the night begins. 'Cause we've done this before, so you come on in. Make yourself.
I'm going to try the teleprompter. We'll see how it goes. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. You know, one thing that I've learned about our business is that it's not just about me. It's about all the different people that we work with every day and come in contact with. So before I get started, I'd just like to do a couple thank yous, if that's all right. To the GMAR staff, you guys work tirelessly to make sure that our association runs smoothly, and I greatly appreciate it. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to Hannah. She was mentioned earlier. She's our events director here at GMAR and does an awesome job, and that's why we have such a great experience today. So really appreciate all the work that she does. I'd also like to take a second and just, again, thank our board of directors. Terry has always said that we have the greatest team, and that's why we're able to accomplish what we do. So greatly appreciate everything that you guys do to support our membership and the tremendous efforts that you put into making sure that we have the best services possible. Next is Vicki, and right now she's wondering which way this is going to go, partly because Vicki and I have known each other since the Wokar days. I think we were probably in high school at that time. So, first and foremost, I can tell you without any reservations that Vicki is one of the most devoted Realtor Association CEOs today, and that we are lucky to have her at the head of GMAR. Vicki's work ethic toward ensuring that GMAR's that it's a well-running powerhouse is tireless. One thing I realized early on in working in the associations is that even though there's thousands of them, which we might not realize, it's a tight community. It's a tight-knit community, and reputations are quickly made. Anytime you mention Vicki's name, it's quickly followed by admiration and respect. Vicki, thanks so much for all you do, your leadership, your friendship, and I'm truly excited about what we're going to do this year. I spoke a little bit about Terry earlier, but I have a little bit more to say. If you're ever having a tough day, just call Terry. There's absolutely no way that you're not going to be feeling awesome by the time she's done with you. Terry has a great way of making people see the best of themselves, even when you're running against each other for treasurer. Terry did win the seat in 2020. However, Terry, overall, I think I won. I had the privilege of learning from you, from your leadership, your extensive knowledge of how the association business works, and the best trait is your collaborative relationships that you have with everybody and working with them with, as you would say, peace and love. So Terry, thank you so much for your kindness, your generosity, and just because you're adding past doesn't mean I won't be leaning on you next year. Katie, your leadership and guidance in navigating one of the more interesting years for GMAR, coming through the shutdowns, is a testament to really how much you care about the membership. I really appreciate you and all that you're going to continue to do at the next levels of the state and national association. So thank you so much. Dee Dee is not here today, as we've all heard. We saw a brief moment of her. She's celebrating being a grandma for the first time, so that's exciting. But I'm very thankful that she is a part of our executive committee and part of the board of directors, and very thankful for what her and I are going to be able to work on over the next 12 months. Sorry, need some water. So to my RE/MAX Classic family, a lot of you have been a part of the company since I was a kid, and I can't thank you enough for showing me grace when I did kid stuff. And I really appreciate all of you working alongside me as professionals today. How about a big round of applause for our MC today? I don't know where he snuck off to. He's around here somewhere, Bart Patterson. There he is. So Bart, he's been a great mentor and is a great friend. He's the ultimate professional. Bart's passion for contributing back to our industry is a big part of why I'm standing here today. He's been a committee member. He's a former board member, a past president of GMAR. And Bart probably looks familiar to a lot of you today, other than just seeing him here today. That's because Bart is one of the best instructors and coaches that GMAR has to offer. Bart, thanks for always being there, for listening and providing guidance. It's invaluable to me. Yeah, big round of applause for Bart. So, I'm lucky enough to have a lot of my family here today. As you heard my mom speak about earlier, we're a family business. So, I am very thankful that my brother Justin is here today. Justin's one of my best friends, one of my biggest supporters and best business partners. He's a can-do anything kind of guy, and Justin, our business couldn't without you. So thank you. So this is the part I'm working on. So also here today is my dad. Dad, your composure, no matter how big of a challenge or how tough a tragedy, is one of the most important things to my success today. The lessons of hard work, taking time to enjoy life's lessons, and continue working on that every day. Thank you for always being there to literally help with anything. It's a regular occurrence about 30 minutes before school pickup. I can't get to the kids. Can you go get them? So thank you for doing what you do, Dad. I couldn't do what I do. So there's a handful of you in the crowd that understand the weird dynamic of working for your parents. You find yourself trying to balance it out so that your screw-ups at home don't cause you grief in the office and vice versa. Are you going to get an earful at the dinner table about the phone call that you forgot to return? Or is the fender bender as a teen that you got into going to cause more bumps at the office? Honestly, you guys have never really had it bad until you've been threatened by another agent that they're going to call your mother. More times than I'd like to admit. My mother's lessons of helping people build wildly successful lives drive me today. Our countless conversations about the agents we work with, sharing their concerns about their families and their businesses around our dinner table, and figuring out ways that we can fuel their success is why I'm here. By the time I was 13 years old, I was quite a bit bigger than my mom. And she could put both of her feet in my shoe. It's funny to think about today. You know, I've only recited this about 300 times. It's funny to think about today, just that I try and fill her shoes every day as a broker, a leader, and a parent. My beautiful wife, Bianca, is here today. Thank you for being the reason that I don't stay at the office until 11 o'clock at night anymore. And thanks for understanding that when I do stay at the office until 11 o'clock at night, it's all for us. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your excitement to hear about my day, even on days that I'm just too burnt out to talk about it. And seeing what you do every day to be a fantastic mom, an awesome dentist, is truly inspiring. Speaking of being a fantastic mom, thank you for the 3 greatest gifts of my life and our babies, Liliana, Amelia, and new Benjamin. All right, and now GMAR. Our business has been my life, and the success of Realtors is my passion. Let me explain. As my mom stole most of my speech earlier, which I don't know how, because I tried really hard to hide all this from everybody, but oh well. My first job in real estate was a purchase agreement paperweight on the hood of my mom's car. Once mastering the ability to read and write, I wrote down phone numbers, FSBO signs for my mom's later contact. As a kid, going to the restaurant where other kids would run for the crayons and coloring books, I went for the Homes magazine and the real estate book. It wasn't so much the houses, but the people, the realtors that enamored me. I wanted to see which ones had the most listings, how many pages they had their pictures on, which had such a huge listing they devoted multiple pages to it. I also wanted to be able to recognize these people when they came into the office, which, by the way, is very difficult considering we all use our high school photos and never change them. Okay. As a 13-year-old, I split my time between heading to a construction site with my dad to build houses and to my mom to sell, to the office with my mom to sell them. As the family business shifted to selling homes and building a brokerage, the focus of our business expanded. It was no longer just about helping folks achieve the American dream of homeownership, but it was about helping realtors build successful lives and businesses. By the time I was 18, 19 years old, I had bought, fixed, and flipped my first investment property, had my salesperson's license, and I was off and running working with home buyers and sellers. Speaking of being a young realtor starting out, to all of those that are out there, keep working hard. You're going to get some phones hung up on you, texts and emails not returned. You're going to get some trolls in your DMs. You're going to have a few doors slammed in your face. But don't give up. Take it from a guy that had to call his mom while standing on the front porch of a listing appointment and had to ask her to come talk to the homeowner so he would let me in his house for the appointment I previously agreed to on the phone. Because he was backing out because a kid showed up. Just keep working. One day you'll be up here being sworn in as president of the largest association in the state. I overcame situations like that by educating myself, improving skills, and becoming a professional realtor. Working hard at honing skills realtors to be successful is one of the many duties that we owe to our buyers and sellers we represent. You did hear me correctly. It is a duty for us to be successful in our craft. We are in most cases working with people's largest financial transactions. We are putting families in homes. We are helping people achieve one of the greatest parts of the American dream, which is home ownership. GMAR offers many tools and services to fuel our members' success, such as educational programs, everything from the art of negotiating to any of our recognized certification courses like the CRS. And if you guys were wondering, you heard earlier, you know the stats. Over 163 courses offered. 6,042 students take advantage of these programs. This is why GMAR is greater, right? Because we're putting in the work to get better, to do better. In addition to the learning opportunities that GMAR offers, there are member services to help you work in your business with marketing tools. If you're building a business, you're going to need help on that, maybe discounts on equipment, supplies, insurance options, navigating everything you need to build your business to be successful. If you haven't, a great resource is GMAR Online. Take some time to take a look at it. Take advantage of what's there. Being educated and running a professional and successful business allows us to do more than just practice real estate sales. It allows us to give back to our communities, a lot of what we've heard about earlier today. Locally, GMAR is partnered with Humble Design, which I had a really great experience being with them on Friday. I was one of the folks that attended their, what they call their Deco Days, where they go in and supply the home with everything that you could possibly imagine that they might need to have a happy home. And it was a really great experience. And they supply the house. So their main focus is to combat homelessness by turning the houses that folks coming out of homelessness into homes by furnishing them with furniture and everything from plates and silverware to artwork to little toys for the kids and stuff. I mean, it's truly an amazing thing to see what they do. Partly so, as you heard earlier, nearly 50% of people that come out of homelessness go back into it within a year, because a lot of times they're just going into an empty home or an empty apartment, or there's or an empty house, I should say, because there's nothing to make it a home. When Humble Design is involved, that percentage drops to less than 1%. So it's truly awesome to see what they do and what we're able to do to support them. So thank you, everybody that does contribute to that. GMAR also hosts some fantastic events that we heard about throughout the day. One of my favorite ones this summer was the Summer in the Park, where we just had a big party in the park for the communities that we support. We had bounce houses and food and crafts for the families, and it was just a nice way for all of us to give back to those that we work with, to all the home buyers that we help get into homes and the sellers that we help navigate all these difficult transactions. In addition to giving back to our communities, GMAR supports its members with programs like the GMAR Scholarships, which provided $25,000 in scholarship money to children of Realtor members pursuing their higher education. This is an important thing to think about because, we do a lot to support our communities, but a big part of our community, a part of that 11,000 plus membership, is everything that we have going on and how we can support each other. And this is a great way to do it. Another great way to do it, you heard Ron talk about it earlier, is with the Greater Realtors Foundation's Realtors Helping Realtors Benevolent Fund, which will take care of folks, our Realtor members that are having difficulties, and they've done so to the tune of about $25,000. So it's a really fantastic program that we've put in place. Our success also allows us to make investments in RPAC so that when burdensome policies such as bans on short-term rentals and sales tax on services can be defeated, which in turn protects private property rights and also the livelihoods of realtors. RPAC investments also create programs like the first-time buyer's home saving account, which we heard about today. The savings account will help provide more opportunities for folks to achieve home ownership. All of these things that we do as GMAR locally are part of a bigger picture. For instance, did you know that realtors produce more than 3 times the budget of the Department of Defense? That our valuation would have a larger market cap than that of Google? That we make up 17% of the United States GDP? We do big things, people. This is why I'm passionate about the success of realtors. We have such a great impact on our community and on our nation. This is why I feel it's our duty to master our craft and be successful. The services we provide to people are invaluable. let's take a quick look at talk about our market for a minute, right? The past few years, it's been red hot, right? Listings flying off the market in days, hours in some cases. From over asking price, few if any contingencies, right? From outside, one might say the houses sold themselves. We've heard that a lot, right? Your job's easy. But we know different. We know that each of these transactions, no matter the speed in which they moved, are unique. All have their own complexities, their own challenges. The simplest of deal oftentimes is our most difficult. Buyers suffered from offer fatigue because they just kept getting beat out. We'd help them make offers on houses, strategically position them to win the home, right? Sellers had a hard time figuring out which best offer was best. Didn't understand all the terms, didn't understand all these creative ways that they were written. Our understanding of the market and our skills help them navigate those transactions successfully. Because we're the expert, we have the knowledge, and we're able to provide the service that the buyers and sellers need to get to the closing table. This is why I brought paper. All right. So today's market's a little bit different, right? It's taken days, maybe a few weeks to get things sold. Maybe you're getting a deal, maybe it's not list price, maybe it's a little bit under. Maybe buyers and sellers are being a little bit more flexible about what they're willing and not willing to do. But as realtors, we know that it boils down to providing the service to help them navigate all these complex decisions successfully. And they're going to get more complex as the months roll on here. Regardless of the conditions of the market, there will always be home buyers and sellers and many opportunities to build successful businesses for those realtors that continue to work hard at becoming skilled professionals. GMAR as an organization and its board of directors know this and spend many hours making sure that those tools and services that we have, the education that we have, are all working properly so that we can perform at the highest level to take care of those folks that are getting into their first home, maybe selling the home of a parent that passed, maybe coming out of homelessness. Take the time to be involved with GMAR. Also take the time to attend our events. We have a great event going on tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come out and spend some time with us. Because building a relationship with the people that you see in this room and the other 11,000 or so members that we have go a long way to getting deals put together, to helping folks get into homes, to help folks get their homes sold. A lot of times it makes the world of difference to be able to pick up a call and say, hey, fellow GMAR member, fellow realtor, here's what we got going on. How can we help these people? As I said when I began speaking this morning, our industry is about the people and relationships we build. My passion is the success of the realtor, and I'm excited to be working with a great group of people in the coming year to make GMAR continue to offer benefits to further our success. Because after all, our members and the tools we have are why we are greater. Thank you so much for being here today, and I look forward to serving you in the coming year. All right, now for some fun. Anybody want to win some money? If you purchased a raffle ticket, please pull out your ticket stub as we are going to call out our prize winners. So thank you for those who purchased the ticket in support of the Greater Realtors Foundation. And you do not need to be present today, correct? Correct. Right? All right. All right, so third prize, which is $100. Hannah's going to pull the card here. And I'm going to read it. All right. Ticket number 000175, Eddie Oro. Eddie. Is Eddie here? Eddie. Edie. Oh, perfect. We'll set this aside. Yep. All right. Second prize, which is $200. What do we got? Ticket number 000157, Melissa Potash. All right, and first prize, which is $300. I know he's here. 000089, Christopher Ayers. All right, Chris. So as Chris makes his way up, oh, well, hold on. We have a speech possibly. Super generous of Christopher. He is going to donate his winnings back to the Greater Realtors Foundation. Christopher, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, we are going to take a 5-minute break, and then we are going to reconvene for our fantastic keynote this morning, afternoon. So let's take about 5 minutes. It's 11:33 now, so 11:40, let's be back. All right. We are going to have our keynote speaker this morning and afternoon, and I'm super excited about having Wayne out to talk today. He is a fantastic person, awesome at what he does, and I learn something every single time I hear him speak, so I'm super thrilled about it. Our speaker today, Wayne, has a life mission to show real estate agents and brokers how to bridge the gap between the business of their mind and the reality of their day-to-day activities. His coaching revolves around a pattern of success, of clarity, of confidence, consistency, and unlocking the activities that each agent or broker enjoys. I'm very excited to announce today's speaker, Mr. Wayne Frederick. Thanks, Wayne. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
My mic on? Oh, yeah, thank you. Okay. Wow, that's bright. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? So I understand you're getting CE for this. That's awesome. Either that or I would have been speaking to a vacant room, right? Okay. Number one, I'm honored to be here and have the ability to speak to you guys for a little while. I'm going to talk to you about where I see the business right now. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my company. Relatively an odd name. I know it's called See the Field Consulting. I'll tell you a little bit more about how we came up with that name. It comes from a movie called The Legend of Bagger Vance. And I don't know how many of you have ever seen that movie or not. The Legend of Bagger Vance is a great movie. It's a golf movie. I'm a golfer, by the way, play a lot of golf. And, but it's really not a golf movie. It's a life movie. So if you get a chance, go watch The Legend of Bagger Vance and you'll know why I named my company, because there is a scene in the movie, and the movie has Will Smith and Matt Damon in it. And there's a scene in the movie where Will Smith is the caddy and Matt Damon is the golfer, and he looks at Matt Damon. Will Smith looks at Matt Damon and he said, "I think it's time." And Matt Damon said, "Time for what?" He said, "I think it's time for you to see the field." And Matt Damon says, "I see the field. It's 405 yards long. It's got a red flag at the end of it." And Will Smith says, "That ain't it. Because if you saw the field, you wouldn't be hacking at that ball like you were chopping weeds out from under your porch. But you go ahead, you hack away." And all of a sudden, Matt Damon looks at him, he goes, "What's the field?" And I believe that the field for all of us is our sweet spot. And it's the things that we enjoy doing. It's why we got into real estate, right? Remember why you got in the real estate business? You got in the real estate business because it was unlimited income. You were going to get to control all of your time. You weren't going to have anybody telling you what to do. Remember that? Remember that? When you walked out of there, you'd pass your test and like, all right, here we go. This is going to be awesome. Okay. Just so I know, I have a real quick question for you. How many of you are on the, if you're on the agent side of the equation, raise your hand, as opposed to broker owners? So broker, that's the agents. Okay, and then how many broker owners we have in the room? Okay, all right. Let me tell you a little bit more about my company. So I won't go through the whole sordid tale of my real estate career other than to tell you I've been in the real estate business for 37 years. How many of you, this was your first career right out of school? Raise your hand. Very, very few of us, right? I did not hold contracts down on the hood of a car for my dad to sign, but my dad was a real estate developer. And I was going to go into business with my father. That was my game plan. I'd gone to college on a golf scholarship, and my real game plan was that I was going to be a golf pro. Now, not a professional golfer, but a golf pro, a guy that worked at a club. And I realized I would work a tremendous number of hours making absolutely no money as an assistant golf professional until I finally got the job to be a head pro. And I was like, I don't want to do that. So I was going to go in business with my dad. I graduated from college in December of 1984. I had not told my dad my game plan, by the way. And my dad sold every stick of property he owned in January of 1985. And he moved to Florida. And he did not offer to take me with him. Now, I had barely gotten out of college. I graduated with a 2.1 grade point average because you had to have a 2.0 grade point average to be eligible to play Division I college golf. So I just snuck in. And I went to my dad and I go, what do I do? Because he was one of the biggest mentors in my life. And he goes, well, why don't you go get your real estate license? You can do that till you figure out what it is you really want to do. So I didn't want to be an assistant golf pro and work a tremendous number of hours and make no money. So what did I do at 23 years old? I got in real estate where I could work a tremendous number of hours and make absolutely no money. Right? 4 years in, we've had our first child. And the movie wasn't out yet, but I guess they could have stolen the line from my wife because my wife looked at me one day and she said, I think it's time. And I said, time for what? And she said, it's time for you to go get a real job. This is awful. You're never home. You work so many hours. You make no money. You got to go get a real job. And I convinced my wife to give me 12 months to try to figure this thing out, to try to figure out, because the one thing I loved about real estate was the freedom. I love the freedom of being a real estate agent. And I think that's probably one of the biggest draws to our industry, right? I still have my broker's license in Missouri. By the way, I'm from Springfield, Missouri, which nobody probably has ever heard of. Oh, wait, we got hands up. Springfield? Kansas City, close enough. Springfield's only famous really for one thing, and that's it's Johnny Morris and Bass Pro Shops. It was founded in Springfield, Missouri. So I convinced my wife, I said, give me 12 months. I think I can do this. And I got exposed, and I was very interested in the level of training that you all have at the board level. We didn't have that. I'll be honest with you, we didn't have that where I live in Springfield. But I sought out to try to figure out this game. And I set a goal to make $100,000. And because that to this day is still the number when I talk to somebody, that's what people aspirationally tell me they want to do. And I'd made $100,000 by June. And I set another goal to make another $100,000. And I made $92,000. So I went from $48,000 at 26 years old to $192,000 at 27 years old. I figured out how the game worked. I also had 3 rules for myself. And the seasoned veterans told me I couldn't do it. My 3 rules were, number 1, I wasn't going to work weekends anymore. Rule number 2 was I wasn't going to do open houses anymore, because that would violate rule number 1. And rule number 3 was nobody was going to call me at home again. Now, some of you in the room don't realize this, but way back in the day, there were 2 numbers on a real estate sign. There was a home number and an office number. So off hours, everybody called your house. And I'm like, I'm just not going to do this anymore. If this is how it is. And I walked into the office, and I ran into one of the seasoned veterans, and I said, man, I'm fired up. I want to make a 12-month run at this thing. I'm going to really figure this out. And I got 3 rules. And I laid out my 3 rules, and he looked at me, and he goes, you can't do that. And I said, why not? He said, because the customer expects it. I said, then I'll quit, because my wife was going to make me quit anyway. So what I'm here to tell you is, in the work that I now do 30-odd years later, we all have a sweet spot. Every person in this room has a sweet spot. Me, for the next hour, I'm in my sweet spot. This is what I love to do. I could stand here and just wear you guys out for days. Okay, I mean, seriously, this is what I love to do. I love the coaching aspect. I love speaking. I just think it's awesome. What I have discovered is that if you're an individual agent right now listening to me, there's a lot of ways to skin this cat. They all work. Every one of them works. You got to get down to the 2 or 3 things that you want to do. And you got to build your business around that. You got to have some rules for your life once and for all, because that's why you got into this. I'm going to talk about the marketplace here in a second, but overarching thing is this. Find the things that you really want to go do and say yes to them, and say no to the stuff you don't enjoy anymore, because your life changes when you do. If you're a broker in the room, I think it's imperative, and I'll show you some numbers and things like that here in a little bit. I think it's imperative that you start working with your people in that aspect as well. I'll lay out for in a second what I think are the 3 types of real estate agents across the country. I do work with people all over the country, so we're in about 94 different offices. They operate in about 3,300 agents we're engaged with at some level, either through an online training platform that we have or coaching through the brokers or whatever. We're in 21 states. Actually, we're in 23 states now as of this week. Okay? So we have a big footprint. Here's the weird thing that's happened. The real estate market is exactly the same across the country. And it's the first time in my 37 years I've ever seen this. Now, the only little chink in the armor has happened in the last 3 weeks in the Pacific Northwest. I've got a client in Bend, Oregon, and he's like, they have like turned the faucet off. There's nothing going on up here. And I said, well, think about it. You guys had the biggest run-up of anybody. You had the most appreciation if you were watching the stats. It stands to reason that you're going to be the first ones to feel the dip, okay? There's no doubt the marketplace is slower, correct? But I liken it to the fact that we were driving a car 200 miles an hour. Now you're going 100. You're still going really, really fast, but it feels really slow, right? It's just that we took the normal real estate transaction, we compressed the time down to those things that Nathan talked about, multiple offers in 3 days and all that. And now what's happening is quite simply to me this, the time frames are expanding again. But it feels really, really slow. But it's not. There's still people that need to buy homes. So where are we and why? Here's what I think the issues are that have been shaping the market. Number 1, we've been on a 9-year market run, haven't we? This thing has had an upward trend for the last 9 years, okay? By show of hands, how many of you have been doing this less than 9 years? Okay. What you went through ain't normal, all right? I mean, just not normal. It's just not, and because there weren't a lot of hands that went up, the rest of the room is like, we knew this was coming, didn't we? Right? So we knew the marketplace was unsustainable and it would change. What no one really figured out was how quickly it would change. Isn't it interesting that a year and a half ago, you would list a house and you'd have like 17 offers in, 6 hours? And 16 of them were cash? And here we are 18 months later, where'd the cash go? Because now all we're talking about is interest rates. Well, wait a minute, where did all these cash people go? Did they all get their houses bought? No. I mean, we know what was happening, right? Because a lot of you have probably been doing this, maybe not as long as me, but close to it. What was happening was parents and family members were making moves behind the scenes to get their children in a lot of cases, in on the 2 and 3% interest rates. As one of my clients in Washington, D.C. says, she tells her sellers now, she's like, look, every house was a great house at 2.5%. Not every house is a great house at 7%. So now we're back to the old set of rules, aren't we? We're back to the houses have to be fixed up because we're looking at 90 and 95% LTVs and all that. And that's the conversation that the great practitioner can have with people. And it's not the conversation that a lot of agents who have jumped into this thing lately can have. I think there's 3 types of real estate agents. In fact, I know there's 3 types of real estate agents, okay? And number 1 is the pro. The true professional. The person who is focused on 2 or 3 of the possible options for how they're going to generate their business. They know every subtle nuance of what they're doing, and their execution is flawless. That is a small percentage of realtors. It's what we all aspire to, right? It's what, as brokers, if you're a broker in the room, think of your top producing agent, and I will guarantee you can immediately tell me how they drive their business, and normally it's only 2 or 3 things. Then we have the tweener. Now, the tweener dabbles in a lot of different stuff, but their execution is sporadic and inconsistent, and this is where a lot of agents live. They try a lot of things. And then we have the rookies, and they're everywhere and nowhere at the same time, operating completely out of fear. They're afraid to not go show the house. They're afraid to not do this and afraid to not do that. What I will tell you, the fallacy in this is that a lot of people think that to go from rookie to pro, you have to spend time in Tweenerville. And I'm here to tell you that you don't. No one does. I would tell you the same thing as a broker. There's a lot of tweener brokerages, a lot of tweener brokers. You don't have to live there because turning pro is simply a mindset. It's 100% just a mindset, okay? And I'll give you an example at the very end to kind of fortify that for you. All right? So what makes a pro? What are the common traits of the pros? And I'm very, very lucky. I'm very blessed in the people I get to work with across the country. They're pros. I mean, my client list is sometimes shocking to me. What makes a pro? What's the difference? Well, number one is clarity. Number one, a pro knows exactly what they're trying to do. And they've got it all figured out. So I would contend that what I do in my work is I try to get people to tell me the business of their dreams. And I work in the space between the business of their dreams, and I believe we all have one. We all have that perfect business model in our mind, right? Like if you had a magic wand, my business would be this. And it always ends up being time and money. It's like the human condition. I would make more money and I would do less time. But if you're not clear, then we don't really know what you're supposed to be doing. And we don't know where you need to build your confidence. Because see, if you're not confident, here's the third leg of this stool, and that's consistency. How many people feel like, either for yourself or for the agents you know, or if you're a broker for the agents in your office, how many people would say, man, if I could just be more consistent, I'd get there? It is the big flaw. And here's what I know about us as individuals. You'll only consistently do the things you're confident in. And you'll also only consistently do the things you enjoy. So why don't we just design business models around the things we like to do? And that will then tell us where we need to build confidence. That'll tell us the training that we need. We don't need all training, right? And ultimately, what we will find is that as agents, we'll be taking the proper actions for us. Because there isn't one way to do this, okay? When you look at our industry, when you look at just industry in general, there are 3 giant buckets of business in business. And number 1 is referral, which is where most people get the majority of their business. I'll show you a referral model here in a bit. So if you don't have a lot of people that are going to refer you business, does that mean you can't make it as a real estate agent? No. It simply means you have to look at the other 2 buckets of business. And one of those buckets of business is advertising. Now, it's that way for every industry. And if we take that to the extreme, it'd be a Super Bowl ad, right? And if we don't have the money to advertise our way to success, which ultimately gets us more referrals, then what's the third leg of the stool? It's active prospecting. Those are call centers in other industries. Every business operates this way. Clarity is the key for any of you that are agents out there right now, or any of you that are brokers and helping your agents. This is the work that I do. Tell me the business of your dreams. Because I operate in the disparity between the business of your dreams and the reality of where you are. I deal with a lot of brokers, and that's what we talk about. For an agent, Your broker is dealing with the disparity between where you are and the business of your dreams. When you're in the field with a buyer and seller, isn't that the space you work in? The difference between where they actually live and what the house of their dreams is? We all work in this same space. Being professional and providing strategy is always important. But it doesn't always matter, and now it matters. And to me, this is the gut shot to the industry right now, honestly. For the last 2 years, there was just a lot of stuff going on. And you didn't have, just don't take this wrong when I say this. You didn't have to be that great at this for the last 2 years. You didn't. You didn't have to be great. You do now. You got to have strategies for your people. And it's kind of upsetting the apple cart of the industry to a certain degree. And I have what I call the mirror test. So tomorrow, there's one thing that I know we will all do. We will all look in a mirror tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, every person in this room is going to look in a mirror. You're either going to be putting your makeup on, doing your hair, not me, either one of those, shaving, brushing your teeth, whatever. You're going to look in a mirror tomorrow. And what I would challenge you to do tomorrow is stop and stare at yourself for a second. Like really look yourself in the eye. Now it's kind of wiggy when you do it, I'll just warn you. But ask yourself this question. Are you good at this? Are you a great practitioner? Are you a great real estate agent? Are you a pro? And if you are, then the world is your oyster, right? If you're a real pro, then isn't it just a numbers game if you want to grow your business? Isn't it just about engaging more and more people all the time? Now, if you look yourself in the eye, in the mirror, and you say, kind of good, sort of good, pretty good, then that's where the work needs to be done. Because what that's saying is a lack of confidence in taking action. One of my favorite quotes is, action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. And it's very easy for us in this industry to get stuck. Okay? The greatest part of being a realtor is what? You're your own boss. The worst part about being a realtor is what? You're your own boss. Right. People can't make us do anything. Right? So just follow my line of thinking here. Trust me, you'll only consistently do the things you enjoy. Things that you don't enjoy will cause you pause. And that pause is lack of confidence. Okay? So why don't we just keep doing things that we like to do? So take the mirror test in the morning. Here's why it matters. The median tenure of real estate agents in the United States is 8 years. This is from the NAR study. So that means the median agent in the United States has not been through any kind of a market other than an upward trending market. The average agent age is 54 years, according to NAR. 70% of agents that come into the business make it less than 18 months. We have had in the last 10 years, there's been a 56% run up in the numbers of agents nationally. Last year, NAR added agents at a rate of 8,400 realtors. New net gain, let me get that clear, net gain 8,400 realtors a month last year. This year, because I watch this every month, this year we're at 4,400 net gain per month. So we're still adding realtors, right? Which on one side of the equation is great, we're giving opportunity to brand new realtors. Which on the other side of the equation, sometimes when people might not know exactly what they're doing, it might lessen the value proposition of the people that really do know what they're doing. And 83% of realtors do not make it 5 years. 91% of the members of NAR, because just of the sheer mathematics of it, have never operated in a marketplace where rates were over 4% and market times were over 45 days. And that's where we are. And that's why the mirror test is so important. This thing is changing behind the scenes, and that's just one piece of what's changing. Let me tell you another piece of what's changing is consumer behavior. We're different now than we were. We do things completely differently, and it's all because of these stupid things. right? We scroll a lot. Some of you are doing it right now because it's CE and you're going to get credit no matter whether you listen or not. But we scroll a lot, don't we? And what's the dynamic of scrolling your phone? Whether it's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, any of that, what's the dynamic of it? If you don't get my attention immediately, I'm moving on because I got plenty of options. Online is really loud. And it's redefining the realtor value proposition, guys. Trust me, it is. Because if you don't, the old realtor model was we would get your name and phone number, say it was like in an open house, right? And we would ask you to sign into the sign-in sheet, which, just to let you know, nobody ever really enjoyed doing. Nobody liked sign-in sheets at open houses. And we knew this forever, so we would trick people, because we're realtors and we're smart. We would put in fake names. And then maybe that would grease the rails and get people to sign. What I will tell you today is, if you don't hit me immediately in the field with value, I will scroll on, because it's what we do. And we go online before we go personal. How many of you have Amazon Prime? How many of you now, Amazon is your first spot you go to, you don't even think about going anywhere else? Okay, that's a change in human behavior, right? We know that according to the NAR studies, 95% of buyers start where? Online. And who do they go to? One of the third-party portals, as a general rule on the buy side. Yeah, just one of the third-party portals. What do sellers do? This is a shift. This is a shift in the dynamic of the business, and it's happened in the last 3 years. Sellers always went to the real estate agent first. Now what do? Google. That's why we're seeing people have great success with Google reviews. So it's like if you get positive reviews and you've been blessed by Google, it's like, oh, I'll just call this person. And it's redefining the value proposition for all of us in this room. So I'm going to give you 9 strategies that I think you can implement. I do not expect you to do all 9. Please don't try to do all 9. There's a couple of them that I think are crucial moving forward. Number 1, embrace your role. All right? So what's happened is we've always said we're real estate agents, right? And then about 15 to 20 years ago, people started putting consultant on their business card. I'm not an agent anymore, I'm a consultant. You know what, if you're a consultant, I'll know it by talking to you. I'll know it by the questions you ask me. I'll know how engaged you are. So the bottom line is, we're not real estate agents, we're not consultants. We've got to be the strategist and the trusted advisor for people. It's what the public has always wanted, okay? I'll make a little, if I say things that are, I don't mean to offend anyone, I don't. But let me tell you what I think is one of the things that we need to wake up to. I will acknowledge that signing contracts online is so much easier, right? It's so much easier. But if you think for 1 second it is not eroding the individual realtor's value proposition in the field, you got blinders on. If all we're doing is emailing you stuff back and forth and we're not sitting down with people and explaining the terms of this contract, which is what the true pro would do, and don't think for a minute that the third-party portals, which I won't name, we're playing right into their hands. They want this to go to an online transaction. Did y'all read Inman News this morning? Anybody read Inman this morning? Y'all read Inman regularly? Okay, good. Inman News. They were talking about Zillow. Their headline was about Zillow. So I screenshotted this and put it on my phone so I could talk about it. Though companies exist to make a profit, that $53 million loss last quarter from Zillow marked an improvement of the third quarter of 2021 when the company lost $329 million. On the other hand, it's a reversal from the second quarter of this year when Zillow made $8 million in profit, which is the third quarter that Zillow has made a profit. These guys are playing the long game. How do you keep funding this and keep losing money? because they're seeing on down the road that this is what they have to do to get the consumer to do what? Go online and try to do the transaction online. I am very passionate about keeping realtors in the center of these transactions, okay? So number one, you've got to become the strategist. You've got to be the trusted advisor for people in the field. It's happened to every other industry but ours. It happened in the travel industry. How many of us use Expedia or Travelocity, right? It happened to the legal industry. It happened in insurance. And most importantly, in the model that I think most mirrors what we do, it happened to stockbrokers. There are no stockbrokers anymore. There are certified financial planners, right? There are investment advisors. There's no stockbroker who literally just had the phone that could get to the floor to make the trade for you. All of that went online, didn't it? This is bothersome to me. This is all I've ever done in my life is be a real estate agent. I mean, I was a real estate agent, I was a broker owner in various roles, but I've been in real estate since I got out of college. This is all I know is this industry. Number two, develop a model and trust it. This has hit me really hard in the last 3 or 4 months as this marketplace started to make its moves that it's making. I think what it's exposing is that for a lot of real estate agents, we don't have a model. We have an idea, and we take action on the idea, and that's why we're tweeners, because we try a lot of different stuff, as opposed to truly modeling things out. Now, when you don't operate from a model, I'll tell you what happens. You're going to have 1 or 2 outcomes, and they both end in the same spot every single time. You take action on an idea, and it works. It's like, how have I been waiting to do this? This is awesome. And then it starts to ebb a little bit and not work as well. And then what do? We quit. Or we have an idea. Maybe a guy like me gets you to buy something for the seminar, right? You have an idea. And it doesn't work in the beginning. And what do? We quit. And so either way, we quit. But if you have a model and you work things out on paper, you'll know what to expect. And I think that for years, this has been why real estate agents' businesses have gone like this. So the work that I do is to help people design business models. And then that tells us what training we're going to need within the context of our business model. That tells us where our confidence is going to be, what materials we're going to have. We can figure out how much we're going to have to spend. See, we can model anything out. And the old adage is it'll always fly or die on paper. So as we're headed into we're in the last quarter of the year, and it's goal setting time, right? I want it to be modeling time. Work these things out on paper. There is a model for any activity that you will go take on, and it will literally fly or die on paper. I learned this from my dad when I was like 9 years old. My dad was a developer, and I remember he'd laying on the couch, because that's what he did, and he had a legal pad and a pen, and he had a bowl of Butterfingers, because he loved candy. And he would lay on the couch, and he would be figuring. I go, Dad, what are you doing? He said, I'm figuring. What do you mean you're figuring? And he said, I drove by a piece of land today, and I'm trying to figure out how big a building I can put on it. I remember this like it was just yesterday, because it was just such a weird conversation for a father to have with a 9 or 10-year-old kid. And he goes, I'm trying to figure out what size building I can put on it, how much it'll rent for. But he goes, right now with the tax law, with accelerated depreciation, he said, I don't even think I need to rent it at all. I think the tax savings will be so much I can just build a building, you sit there vacant, and I'll make the money. I was like, way to go, Dad. Nice figuring. But when you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, we're all going to take out a legal pad, aren't we? But when you spend a couple $100, take a flyer, we're not going to model it out. And I want you to model everything out. Number 3, understand your value. People are no longer coming to you for information. They're coming to you, and this is because of online, right? They're coming to you for your ability to interpret the information they already possess and give them a strategy. This is all about strategy. Number 4, differentiate. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. The importance of differentiating yourself in initial contact cannot be overstated in today's market. And I think this is what's throwing people for a loop, is that, you know, I mean, Nathan, I think you even referenced it in your speech about people ghosting you, or, you know, getting spam and DMs and things like that, right? Which is a thing. You have to differentiate and show value at initial contact. Now, how do we do that as realtors? It's what the conversations we have with people, right? Now, how do you get better at conversations with people? I'm going to throw out the two words that just make everyone shudder. You role play. Dun, dun, dun. Right? Well, you do. You role play. You absolutely 100% role play, and it's what we hate to do. But I'm telling you, in today's loud online world, that is the value. Can you have a high-level conversation with me the first time I talk to you? And if you can, and you do some of the other things I'm going to talk about, you'll win me quickly, and I'll never leave you. Anytime you're having a conversation with someone, I think there's 4 questions you have to work your way in. Number 1, do they have a desire to do a transaction? Because not everyone that we run into has a desire, do they? I learned long ago that this game that we play as real estate agents every day is it's not to try to turn people into clients. It's to politely figure out who isn't going to be one and politely get away from them as fast as you can. Right? But we tend to violate our processes. I still hear it from people. Well, you don't understand. I had to work with them. Why? Well, they were a referral. In my world, I don't care. They're either someone you want to be around or they're someone you don't want to be around. Right? Or the mantra for years has been, well, I've spent so much time with them now, I got to keep going and make something on this deal. And what I would tell you is selling real estate, guys, is truly a battle of processes. Either you get the client into your process or you'll end up in the middle of theirs. And when you end up in the middle of a client's process, sometimes you're like, ooh, I don't like their process. And I want you to be able to figure out how, and there's a way to do it, through a line of questioning, right? Through the conversations that you have, to be able to pretty quickly decide whether you want to spend a lot of time with these people or not. Write this book title down. It's called Top Grading by a gentleman by the name of Bradford Smart. It is a book of interview questions for employees. There is great transference over into our industry. Top Grading, Bradford Smart. Top Grading, like you're going to grade a paper, by Bradford Smart. It is a book of interview questions. It's a voluminous book of interview questions. It'll bore you to tears, but it's really, really good. But we need to be asking better questions. So, do they have a desire? Number 2, do they have the ability to do a transaction? Now, in our world, that means what? Can they get a loan or do they have cash? Number 3, would you like some help with the process? Because not everybody wants help, do they? Right? And rather than trying to convince them that they ought to want help, I would tell you, just don't waste your time. Because it's probably not going to be a great transaction. And then the last piece of it is, could I interview for the position to help you? Because all I ever ask for is an interview. That's it. This was how I changed my real estate career. My wife had given me 12 months to figure this out. And I didn't want to work weekends, so I knew I had to get to the listing side of the equation. Okay? Because I figured out really quickly buyers were kind of like a weekend activity. And I didn't want to work weekends, so that means you got to go find listings. I tried everything, kept trying things, and I stumbled into expireds, which, by the way, there haven't been many lately. There's about to be, because we're seeing price reductions. What happens after price reductions? Expireds. And I learned dialogue, and I learned how to call people. I just did we do a live training session every other week, and I just did this yesterday live. I was calling people all over the country. Because it's the same dialogue I've used for 25 years. Hi, this is Wayne Frederick. I noticed that your home showed up as expired this morning, and I was wondering, Are you going to be relisting with the same agent or possibly interviewing any new agents? There's 5 possible answers to that question. There's only 5. There's only 5 things they can say, okay? And regardless of what they say, they might say, well, I'm not sure, so there's a chance you'd be interviewing people. I guess. What do I need to do to be one of those people? I don't know. And then you go into another series of 6 questions, and all of a sudden they're like, this guy's different than the other people. And all I want to do is be able to drop off some information, because all I ever ask for is an interview. How many of you feel that way? It's like, just let me talk to you. You're going to hire me because I'm really, really good at this. Right? This goes back to the mirror test I talked about earlier. Okay. If you get 4 yeses, you got a lead. And I think we talk too much about leads in this business. If you look just at the online numbers, right? 2011, we had 4.6 million transactions and 4.5 million online leads. In 2018, we had like 5.5 million transactions, 89 million online leads. 2021, we're about 6.1 million transactions, 100 million leads. Were we really missing out on 94 million people that want to buy houses? I think not. So I think we ought to just start by saying, it's a human. I have a chance to engage with a human. It's my job to figure out if it's a lead or not, and then it's my job to find out if it's somebody that I want to work with. And you do it with really simple old school stuff. These are buyer and listing questionnaires. I don't know how many of you have. How many of you have a buyer questionnaire that every time someone calls, you go straight into the questions? How about a pre-listing questionnaire? Okay. If you want these, they're on my website. It's waynefrederick.com. You can download them for free. Put your logo at the top. I don't care. It really helps people have great conversations. And that is the key in today's world. This is the shift that is going on in this industry. And here's the biggest one. And so I told you there were 2 that you just were like off the table. You got to go do, and this is it. Is upgrade your past client systems. The online portals, the third parties are banking on the fact that y'all won't do it. They're absolutely banking on the fact. And that's why we've seen people start going more and more to the online portals as their initial deal rather than calling you as their trusted advisor. And we got to stop this. And the only people that can do it are you in the field. Or if you're a broker, the agents in your offices. I believe it's about 2 issues. Number 1, I believe it's smaller databases, not bigger databases. And number 2, it's more vibrant engagement with a smaller group of people. All right? It's more vibrant engagement with a smaller group of people. Much of what I talk to people about are my own mess-ups as an agent. At one point, I had 1,450 people in my database. I was contacting them 3 or 4 times a year, which is pretty much industry standard. Let me just ask a question. If I'm one of your past clients, one of your referral sources, how often do I hear from you and in what manner? Raise your hand if right now, if I'm one of your people, I hear from you more than 24 times a year. 3 hands, 3 people. How about more than 18 times a year? 3 more people. How about more than 12 times a year? A couple more people. If you could run your business any way you wanted to, how would you do it? Wouldn't you do it by referral? How many people, well, yeah, raise your hand if you just do it by referral. In today's loud world, 12 times a year won't keep your people your people. No. Okay? So I had 1,450 people in my database. I'm contacting them 3 or 4 times a year. I'm doing business by referral. And I had somebody that challenged me on it. Said, how many of those people know you, like you, and want to deal with you? I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Because some of the people, quite honestly, I had no idea who they were. They were just in my database, and I was just sending them all the same stuff. So I went on a quest to try to figure this out, and I did. When the dust cleared, I had 356 people that actually raised their hand back to me and said, yeah, I know you, I like you, and I want to deal with you. I had 1,100 people who didn't want to play the little game that I laid out. I had 4 times when the new wife crossed out the ex-wife's name that was still in my database and sent my client survey back to me. I had one couple who took out a red marker and wrote across my survey, "We would not recommend you to a dog." Now my computer, F5, you could delete people, so I just F5'd them, right? But here was the deal. Those people were getting the same communications from me as the people who knew me, liked me, and wanted to deal with me. See, I didn't know who my really strong people were, and I still, to this day, I travel all over the country. I was in Boston last week, 450 people. Same percentage of hands went up. And I'm here to tell you today, this isn't on the table for discussion. You have got to fortify your relationships with your people. And the third parties, the onliners, whatever you want to call them, they're banking on the fact that you're not going to do it. Okay? This is the big deal in the industry, and it always has been. It always has been. To give you an example, this is a team that I work with, okay? We had a two-pronged strategy going from 2021 to 22. I'll be with them in a couple of weeks, and we'll see how the numbers have morphed. In 2020, the team leader was doing what a lot of people do. It's like, we need to be in contact with our past clients. You guys need to do it, right? And they were doing it. They were doing it at a pretty good level. They had 129 transactions, 29 million in volume, $752,000. And in 2021, we went on an initiative to really burrow in with past clients. Same people on the team, right? The numbers went to 234 transactions and $1.3 million in commission income, up $600,000. Only by upgrading the quality and the number of contacts to past clients. It is there for everyone in this room. It is there for everyone in this industry if you're good. Being a realtor is very, very simple. It's not easy, but it's very, very simple. There's only 3 things you have to do. Number 1, you have to be really good at what you do. So to be good. Number 2 is be nice to everyone. Okay? Be nice to everybody. And number 3 is stay in touch with people. If you got all 3 of those things going, this thing will scale, it will grow, there's value. Everybody talks about trying to scale. No, just bring value. Be good, be nice, stay in touch. Be good, be nice, stay in touch. Be good, be nice, stay in touch. I will tell you that sometimes the hardest part of being a realtor is the realization that if you're really good at this, if you're a true pro, you might do all the work. It's okay. You're doing it because you're protecting your client. The hard part is when you get to the closing, put your arm around the other agent and tell them how awesome it was to do the transaction with them, when in some cases you had to do the work. It's just the dynamic, right? It's a dynamic of a pro. Here's some things that I think you should do in regards to past client systems. Number 1, invoke Pareto's Law. Are you familiar with Pareto's Law? I mean, you are, but you probably didn't know about Vilfredo. His name was Vilfredo Pareto. He invented it. He looked at the wealth of Europe back in the 1400s, and he discovered that 80% of the wealth was in 20% of the people, and then 80% of that wealth was in 20% of those people, and 80% of that wealth was in 20% of those people. And we know it as the 80-20 principle, that you will generate 80% of your revenue from 20% of your activities. Well, it's a law. You will wear 20% of the clothes in your closet 80% of the time. You will walk on 20% of the carpets in your house 80% of the time. You will go to 20% of the restaurants in town 80% of the time, and when you get there, you'll order from 20% of the menu 80% of the time. It's a law. There's 20% people and there's 80% people. And the 20% people are the ones that will drive your business. They're the ones that you need to get close to, right? So number 1, invoke Pareto's Law. Figure out who your guys are. Number 2, I'm a huge fan of Keeping Current Matters, Steve Harney's fabulous organization. If you're not subscribing to Harney's deal, and I don't get anything from him. I just think it's the best real-time info for you to be sending out to your clients that there is in the industry. KeepingCurrentMatters.com, it's a subscription-based service. They have new data that comes out the 10th of every month. Because in today's world, with the loudness of online, you now do have to be giving them information that they don't know. Walking them through the various loan programs that are out there. What are rates going to do? I mean, the Fed raised a discount 3/4 yesterday. What happened to rates? Nothing. It was already priced in, right? That's what the trusted advisor could talk to their people about. I would suggest if you're an agent, create a closed Facebook group for all of your past clients. I have a couple of people in Texas that are just killing it with this. That's how they engage with their past clients all the time. Once you do a deal with them, you're invited to be in the closed Facebook group. Okay? That's a solid touch point. And up your annual contacts to more than 24. That takes a plan, that takes a model, that takes really sitting down and figuring things out. Number 6, embrace video. Oh, somebody over here go, oh. How many of you have embraced video? You love it. You love shooting videos of yourself, right? All right, so here's my deal with video. There is no doubt that video is a thing, it's cool, it's why we can listen to a song from our high school years that we haven't heard in forever, and immediately when it comes on, we can sing every word. Because video does stick with you. So you need to embrace video. And you need to use video with your past clients and in a lot of the things that you're doing, or just decide you're not going to. Just draw the line in the sand and say, I get it, but I'm not going to do it. Let's get out of this world of, okay, I'm going to shoot a video. Here we go. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, and I stumbled. Now I got to do it again. Well, that didn't sound very good. Oh, that one was pretty good. And then we watch it and we go, oh, why did I look like that? Okay, let me shoot it again. And before you know it, no video went out. So if you're going to use video, use my hack. Have somebody else record you. The only bar is that you didn't stumble over the words, and you never, ever watch it. It's my own personal life hack. I never watch it, not one time. Any videos that we have to send out in promo for events or whatever, I ain't ever seen them. I'm never looking at them because I can find all the stuff that's wrong, right? So invest in a camera. There's other things to it. There is a place that I think video is really, really cool and it really, really works, and you should think about little 15-second videos. I think we have to create conversion protocols in today's environment. So number one, that starts with us having a great conversation with someone. Now we do that by asking great questions, right? And understanding the dynamics of what we're going to do. And when we've had a great conversation with someone, then perhaps we send them a quick little video, because a lot of these conversations are still over the phone, aren't they? Right? A lot of this initial stuff is over the phone. So maybe we send a quick little video of, hey, this is Wayne. I just wanted you to put a name with a face. I just talked to you on the phone. Be watching for the materials that I'm going to send to you. I look forward to the opportunity of interviewing for the position of working with you. And that's a video that goes out, maybe after an open house, maybe after an ad call, maybe after a Zillow lead if you're in the online world, right? Video differentiates. And then the next thing I would tell you is you need to start sending materials to people's homes. Overnight them to their homes. And what are those materials? If the conversation is about listing a house, I would tell you need to send them a pre-listing packet. If it's about buying a house, you better have a buyer packet in today's world. You need to have materials. Materials help you build confidence. And so you send those materials to them, and then you follow up based on the materials. Now, trust me, anybody using video cards? Nathan, you are? Anybody know? You guys know what video cards are, right? They're like a greeting card, and you open them up, and a video auto-plays. They're huge. They're huge. They're not cheap. They're about 20 bucks a throw. But if you've had the right conversation and you know this is someone that you want to be around, invest in video cards, or at least research some video card options, okay? Then we're going to follow up on the materials. Now we've acquired perhaps a client, and we're going to book a consultation with those people. Whether it's a listing presentation or a buyer presentation, which I believe is the next frontier of what's about to happen in our industry, is we're going to have to really master the buyer conversations. And that's this whole lawsuity thing going on. And then lastly, we'll get a contract. So conversion protocol is huge. That's your process, right? By the way, people refer processes, they don't refer people. If I'll use you if you're my buddy, even if you're not very good at this, I'll still use you because it's just awkward not to. We see people do this all the time. But I won't tell my friends to use you. unless you had a great process. People refer processes, they don't refer people. Number 8, become a student of the game. I think you need to study more than you've ever studied in this industry right now. You need to be reading every day. You need to be subscribing to the Inman News. You need to be watching National Real Estate Post if you're not already. The 2 lenders out of California. It's always great information. Keeping current matters. We've got to be more of a student of the game than we ever have. And I want you to embrace what I call the power of 15. You can literally change your life 15 minutes a day. Stop trying to commit exorbitant amounts of time to things. Just give me 15 minutes. Give me 15 minutes of writing thank you notes to your past clients. Give me 15 minutes of working on scripts and dialogues. Give me 15 minutes of working on marketing material. Just 15 minutes, because you can't tell me you don't have 15 minutes. And then beware of what I call the rule of 2. Don't ever let more than 2 days go by without you spending time in the power of 15. Now, I'll give you the analogy that'll resonate with everybody. My son said this to me one day. He goes, you know, Dad, you're only 2 days away from never working out again. And I'm like, what? And he goes, well, think about it. If you skip 2 days at the gym, before you know it, you've skipped 2 weeks, then 2 months, then 2 years. I'm like, yeah. And then the mantra becomes, well, if I went to the gym, I'd have to go for like 2 hours. And I don't have 2 hours today. But maybe I'll get 2 hours tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes. You can literally change your life 15 minutes a day. But what are you going to have layered in to be able to do this? And it's clarity. It's clarity. What are you trying to do? If you've got clarity and you've got a model and you know the things you need to be confident in to execute at a high level, you'll get there 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day is an hour and 15 minutes in a week. If we do that for a month, that's 5 hours. You do that for 6 weeks, that's 8 hours. If you went off by yourself for a day and thought about your business and thought about the business of your dreams, wouldn't you come back a better player? And yet, it's hard for people to spend that much time, so just do 15 minutes a day. And here's the other thing. Number 9, turn pro. And if you're already a pro, go to a higher level. And I use these people as an example because I don't believe, quite honestly, there's any difference in these people and us. It's a decision that they made. They made the decision to turn pro. I look at what y'all do as exactly the same as being the elite athlete. It's exactly the same. And the reason that these athletes that are on here became elite was what? They practiced more than everybody else did. There really wasn't anything that much different with them, except for Michael Phelps. I was in Scottsdale a couple of years ago, and I'm sitting this way, my back to the door at a Starbucks, and the guys across from me's eyes get really big. I'm like, what's wrong? And he goes, Michael Phelps just walked in. And I turned, and I'm like, oh, you're a swimmer. His shoulders are like this wide. His hands are like meat hooks, and his feet are like this big, like flippers. But if you read and study Michael Phelps did everything by process. If you watched him in the Olympics, he sat in the same chair every time before he swam. There was always a vacant chair next to him. He listened to the same music every time. At the same moment in the same song, he got up and he took his warm-up off and he started his deal, and everything was a process. If you've never read the book Jobs by Walter Isaacson about Steve Jobs, it totally validates the fact of turning pro and only doing 3 or 4 things at an incredibly high level. It was a success of Apple. Warren Buffett reads 6 hours a day. I don't know if y'all knew that about Warren or not. Still to this day, he reads 6 hours a day. Now, he only reads stock portfolios, right? But he reads for 6 hours a day. And then Steph Curry, the most prolific three-point shooter in the NBA. Well, he's now famous for his pregame routine. People go to the arena 3 hours before just to watch him warm up. And what's he doing? He's role-playing. What's he practicing? Shooting three-pointers 3 hours before every game. It's not like he got in the NBA and said, I think I better start practicing now. It was the practice that made him elite. I believe we all have the ability to do that. I believe we all have innately in us the ability to practice more, to find the time to practice more, to live the business of your dreams, to run your life, to get back to the reason that we got into real estate. Serena Williams is another example, right? I used to put Tiger Woods up there too, but I took him off. No real reason. I could put him back up there now. They had a mentor, didn't they? If you watch the movie about the Williams sisters, they had their dad was pushing them, but pushing them in something they wanted to do. See, that's the other part of the equation. Wherever you can get to on your own, you'll get to a higher level with someone else. I firmly believe that we're only here for a short time. You got to love what you do. I learned this from my father. My dad would tell you he never worked a day in his life. I mean, literally, he would say that. He'd say, I never worked. Anybody that knew him said he was the hardest working man they ever met. And he's like, this ain't work. This is fun. I love this stuff. I think we all have that in us, right? That's why we got in this business. So I want you to kind of mentally go back to why you got in and then start putting the things in place that the elite players do. And your life changes. Trust the work. Trust the time that you put in. Stephen Pressfield said the sure sign of an amateur, they got 1 million plans and they all start tomorrow. And that's not what a pro does. A pro sits down and figures it out once and for all. I will leave you with this. I've evolved in my life. I'm 60. And I have what I call my three-legged stool of life. And I get, every once in a while, somebody tries to get me to come and work for them or something, which I did that once. I worked for a region, and I was a horrible employee, as you can imagine. I was just horrible. Because I had all these ideas, and I'd modeled everything out. I knew it was going to work, and then when they didn't do it, I'd get mad and all that. I have my three-legged stool of life, and I've been lucky enough to be mentored by people who literally ran their lives. And I want to go back to the fact that I think that's why we got into this. And I want to try to scratch around in there for just a second and tell you that it's there for you. Because I have a three-legged stool that I make all my life decisions against when it comes to work. Number one, I would have to enjoy the work. I love what I do. I spend 25 hours a week on Zoom. I love it. I get to see my clients face to face. I think it's awesome, right? I love speaking. I love presenting. I love everything about what I do. It is not work to me. I'm lucky. The second thing is there's a monetary component for me. I have to be able to make the amount of money that I want to make. And that's up to me, right? That's not somebody else telling me, this is what I think I need to be able to make. And the third part is I have to have complete freedom. Because that's what got me in real estate in the beginning. I was raised by a serial entrepreneur. So for me, it's not a chair, it's a stool. And here's why. There ain't a fourth leg to this thing. Because if you knock one leg out from under a chair, it'll still stand up. But you knock one leg out from under a stool, it'll fall over. So money won't fix it if I don't have freedom and I don't enjoy the work. Or freedom won't fix it if there's not a monetary component, right? Or doing things that you don't like to do. It doesn't matter how much you pay me. I don't like doing this. I live it. I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed. It's out there for every one of us in this room and everybody that's a member of your great board. And it's the message I think we need to be giving to people. So the question is, for everybody in our industry, you ready to turn pro? Are you ready to ramp it up to another level? Go to the Olympian level, go to the Michael Phelps level, whatever level you want to go to, because it's out there. All you got to do is make the decision, because it doesn't happen over time. It happens in here. My favorite movie always has been The Legend of Bagger Vance. My second favorite movie is Serendipity. Anybody know the movie Serendipity? It's a rom-com, right? I believe life is serendipitous. I believe that when you get really clear, the right people show up at the right time. Not sometimes, every time, to help you get there. I believe that the only problem we have is we're not really clear on what we're trying to do. The people are out there waiting to help us. So just get clear, get focused, Everything falls into place because I believe the marketplace of the future is going to belong to those people who truly turn pro. Guys, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. You got an hour of CE out of this. Have a great day. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. That's awesome. Appreciate it.
All right, great program, guys. Yeah. Like I said, I always learn something from Wayne, regardless of where I hear him speak. He's always very informative and always walks away with something to help build success. So thanks so much, everybody, for coming out, for participating. Please make sure you take the portion of your green content sheet and turn that into a GMAR staff member so that we receive credit. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night at GMAR Gives Back. You can get your ticket online or you can purchase at the door. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.